Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Welcome to another stream. Yeah. Okay. So hello. Welcome. I didn't start. Oh, this is slightly on screen. Things good to go. Probably, hopefully, I can hope. You didn't start the stream standing because I'm in pain. No, I did the Terry Fox run today, and my legs are very sore, and yeah, so I'm gonna be trying to walk as little as possible for the next few days, but that's not important. So, hello, welcome one and all. Again, I never know how much to like. Yeah, we'll do a brief recap of things. So, well, I guess the recap stuff isn't actually super important for right now, and I have some initial setup to do before we get fully underway and what I want to do with this stream, which is going to be something a bit experimental, and I have no idea how it's going to go. Might go good, might go bad, we're gonna see. So, it was from the previous stream, making a video thing. I guess I can show off a little bit of, but this project is not what we're going to be doing stuff with today, because the next part of, actually, let me talk first and then show. Next bit of what I'm gonna be, so I'm making a YouTube video with a particular style where I'm assembling some clips of, it's gonna be me talking and like gameplay footage and like Unity, like code, C# stuff, for like a Unity tutorial in this style. But we made a Unity project out of it, of having these swinging monitors that come in and show the next clip and having this back and forth kind of a thing. The next thing that I need to be doing with the production of this video is a lot more like tedious editing stuff, and I don't think makes for good stream content, so I'm going to be kind of saving that for doing that more on my own. However, I still want to be streaming consistently, so I need like other things to be doing while I'm yeah, basically I wanted to stream something else that wasn't this monotonous stuff. Again, with the thing that I want to try doing here today, we'll see how that goes, but yeah. So I'll show a little bit of this. Every clip that, like, so okay, all of these clips are still like they need to be cut. All the clips where I'm not wearing the lab coat, like I'm just taking the audio of these clips once I cut a bit at the beginning, cut a bit at the end, and then, but basically this, yeah, thing swings away, swings on, is the idea of what we're doing with this stuff. Ideally, footage like this with me in the lab coat will actually be using. Although I want to experiment with maybe putting some kind of like old-timey static on top of it. Maybe. Definitely a lot of things with this to still experiment with and try out different ideas. I rambled about this a ton in the last couple streams of taking this rough idea and sort of where I want to take it. What is, oh, that's the video, yep. I was like, what am I hearing? Yeah, it's from this. So you can see a little bit of like, and there's like 4 directions that the monitors can come in from, but yeah. So that's the thing. That's what where this is currently at. Still want to do more with like making the monitors themselves better, getting the actual clips. Like right now, the next thing that I'm doing that's more actually important is getting what's actually being shown on the monitors together. There are 18 clips total. One of those being the outro that's done, and one of them being the intro, like the 2 animations that I have. So like those are technically done. Everything else still needs work. Some are going to be easier than others. All the clips that are me talking directly into the camera is just cut a bit at the beginning, cut a bit at the end. If I do the static thing, that's like an additional thing that I'll look at at some point. We'll see. But that's more like optional. In terms of like mandatory things for the video to be technically kind of sort of done, yeah, all the other clips still need like their actual background footage to still be recorded and all the things that are gonna come with that. And then the video itself, I want background audio to be playing throughout the whole thing, so it's not so eerily silent. So that, yeah, more stuff that I'll be continuing to do, but not right now. This is just stuff we were doing in the last stream and stuff I'm going to be continuing to do between then. We're going to be continuing to do along the next couple streams. So, what we're actually going to be doing, which I didn't fully set up yet because I don't have, so it's like 9:50, it's like almost 10 o'clock. This stream will probably go till around midnight, maybe 1 a.m., we'll see. So I want to just, even though I'm not, I have some things that I need to still kind of set up. It's going to do that now. Wanted to start, even though I wasn't fully set up, I just wanted to start the stream anyway, just so that it's not too short of a stream overall. Also, there's not many people here at the moment anyway, so it's fine. I just want to do a little bit of fiddling. Yeah, so the one thing I did a couple days ago is upgrading. It's on the newest version of Unity and upgrading some Unity projects. I just realized that the one that we're actually working in, I missed upgrading that one. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that real quick. If I had known, I could have been doing that while I was doing that rambling about this stuff. Yeah. Hopefully shouldn't take too long in theory. Although I might actually be taking that and making a brand new Unity project. I'm not completely sure just yet. I have an idea. It's kind of a mix of the two. When this can open sometime this century. So this is the Unity project where I've made what's currently playing below the stream. The this like looping animation of cubes going along a conveyor belt, a very physicsy conveyor belt that yeah, looks quite cool. Oh no. Oh right, this okay, a little bit of maintenance I have to do. 1 second. Well, it gives me more time to ramble, I suppose. Yeah, so it is a later thing that I'm not ready to do just yet. Is I want to do some stuff to improve the animation down there. More so, or the main thing going along with that is instead of having it be a looping animation, I want it to be live footage of a Unity scene that is running from... I have an old computer, so it's going to be running on that, and then going from that computer to this one, either directly wired or through some kind of cloud-based thing. I'm going to experiment with my options and kind of what works better. So then down there will be like live footage from a Unity scene that's then doing more interesting things, can have more randomness to it. It doesn't have to loop perfectly. And then potentially like chat, people can type stuff that causes things to happen. Is yeah, cool ideas that we're gonna mess around with. And then it doesn't just have to be a conveyor belt all the time. It could swap out a few different animation-y things from time to time. So like we have this conveyor belt one. We started to do some work with making a laser one, just having some lasers bouncing off of stuff, which is pretty cool. Although we're gonna be doing a lot more with that. Okay, this project, yeah. So does this look familiar? Because this is it's what's below the stream right now. Not the only scene that we're dealing with though. So this, I guess I'll just show it off for fun. Even though this isn't what we are actually working with today. Oh. Don't tell me that having upgraded Unity, I just kind of assume that No. Don't do this to me. Why? Well, the technical difficulties, this is not one I expected to have. No. And we're not doing stuff with the lasers today, but I would prefer it to be working. This is just a line renderer. Don't tell me line renderers are just, for some reason, broken in the latest version of Unity. That'd be unfortunate. Let me just, for sake of just testing stuff, just put a random line renderer on any other object and seeing if that is showing up. It is. Okay. I mean, that one's not like showing up with the right material. Did I make I made a laser material or something like that? Yeah, so it's, okay, something's up with the material itself. You are from a shader graph. That's just like an unlit thing that just takes in. If I just like save you or something, will you fix yourself maybe? Weird. I think graphic, is this some kind of shader graph related thing? Okay. We are unfortunately going to just do a little bit of debugging, trying to fix, like, I don't know why. This was not what I was intending to start this stream, but if Unity's just going to be weird and have stuff break, then it kind of leaves me with no choice. So, why? why is that going to be happening? I mean, so I'm currently, it was in like 2022.2.1, no, 2022. whatever it was, 22.3.9, and now I just upgraded to 2023.1.13, hoping that things would be fine, but it looks like that might not be the case. This shader is... What's weird is it's not just that shaders in general broke, because this grid is using this shader graph, and it seems to be working totally fine. So I don't know why this one isn't. Did the just out of curiosity, real quick, I'm just curious if the conveyor scene even works, or if I'm about to find that something is just completely broken over here. Cubes be spawning. Are you going through that? You're going on top of it. That's funny. These objects don't matter. They're more for, like, placeholder stuff. Just to mark where, with the stream, where, like, my webcam and the desktop is. I'm not used to pointing. I flipped my webcam a little bit ago, so I now have to point that way if I'm pointing to the desktop. I used to have to be pointing that way. So, that's a thing I have to get used to. Okay, so this seems to be working fine. It seems to be just very specifically my fancy laser material that's not wanting to work. I would like to... So it's just the material that's like, nah, I'm not gonna show up. As just a test. The same material on anything else. I actually don't know what pay-per-view this will have. Yeah, that's what I want. Just take that and happen to align renderer, please. Why? I mean, if I really needed to, I could just back could just downgrade Unity, but I'd rather not need to do that, preferably. I'm just gonna make this local just so I can kind of see it. So here's the thing. And it's just not. It's not like showing up on the back, is it? Well, yeah, you're gonna be facing the camera because that's just how you're set up to work. Why? I mean, I could do a quick Google. I don't know if it's in any way likely that anyone's experienced, this is 2023.1.13, or more just 2023.1. I don't even know, like, line render material not showing up. I'm very doubtful that I'll find... like this particular problem. Seeing like articles from like 2014 and stuff. That ain't too helpful. Is there anything, I don't know, it's like, yeah, this is not something I expected to have happen. Or like there's a chance that like the way that I made this material for the laser in the first place was just a wrong way to go about such a thing. I'm curious to see real quick if any other material will show up. Interesting. You will. Okay, wait, this gives me an idea. It could just be it going from being a what's the word? Being an unlit material if I just change it to, oh, you're at sprite unlit. Is it new that they made new things, like having sprite unlit versus... There we go. Okay, cool. Science. Okay, quick little just detour. In theory, then now this should work again. Cool. Yeah, lasers. Again, not what the focus of this stream was intended to be at all, but cool. Just a quick little bit of debugging. That didn't take too long. I was getting worried of like I didn't want to be spending all stream just having to Google and try to fix that, but we got there. It wasn't something too terribly difficult. Okay, so first thing that I wanted to do. So this is the Unity project for that will eventually be for having these different animations. Like each scene will be a different animation. We have this. I think I still have this. the old conveyor. The sort of first, like, prototype kind of thing of it. Yeah. I want to do a thing, though. Testing or something like that. And then we're going to do a little something crazy. Copy you. I don't actually want to make a folder. I want to make a scene, which we're going to do instead by... actually... well, it doesn't matter. I just want to make it... yeah, just make a new scene. It's fine. Whatever. And then I want to... No, okay, make the scene and then save it. Hold on. This is some of the prep work I would have done before starting the stream, but I don't got all the time in the world today, so I wanted to just start the stream early, even if I wasn't completely ready. I'm just gonna call this testing or whatever. I can rename it later. Blarg, and then copy all the objects from both scenes. Mainly, I just want the laser stuff, but I will explain why I'm doing this in just a minute. Okay. Got the stuff from both, but I don't need everything from both. I'm going to delete that stuff. I only need a couple. Basically, what I want to do is, so we're kind of continuing the line of, here's a thing I've never done in Unity. I just want to try making a thing for the fun of doing it, and then maybe we make something cool out of it, then kill two birds with one stone gets used in a later thing that I do, such as an additional like animation that ends up being below the stream, or a hazard or something visual or whatever that ends up being used in a later game, likely Ultra Tag or the Handyman with the Unicycle. So that's why I want to do the thing we're about to do, which I haven't even explained. The stream name is like Procedural Dragging Movement. I have a very particular idea in my head of something that I want to try making that I've never done before, which I haven't even planned out that much of how I'm going to even code it in the first place, and I expect it to have challenges and difficulties and yada yada. That being said, yeah, we're going to try stuff anyway and kind of hope that it works. Okay, so first, I'll move you, like, I don't know, over here or whatever. I've moved stuff in here because even though we're going to be not working with the lasers or the conveyor belt stuff, I just wanted to have this like one combined scene of, in theory, of future streams of just making all these random little things, just dumping it all in one scene, so we have just this like, I don't know, interesting looking just field of just different random things, because why not? Looks more visually interesting while I'm making stuff rather than just staring at what is effectively a blank Unity scene for half the time. Yeah, okay, so what I'm looking for is the ground that I used here. I'm just gonna, what's this one? Hey, dark, whatever. Testing, I don't know. Put you on here. Let's, new color, what are you gonna be? Like, actually, because this is like the testing thing, I could go with like blueprint colors. Something like that. If I just Google blueprint, get like the exact kind of hex codes. Ooh, blueprints. Which is more like, I mean, okay, different blueprints, like this slightly different shading on stuff, but this would be cool. They don't go too bright. Go like blueprint kind of thing, but let it be a little darker. Does that actually look better with darker? Something like that, perhaps. You also don't have a skybox. Let me just dump in the one from... What are your lighting settings? You're just gonna... Yeah, copy that stuff. That's not really gonna change. Pro volumes, that's a thing. That's a new thing, I think. Okay, skybox. Just put in the kind of default one that I made, like the other thing's using. Oh, why are you so tailed out? That's probably because the post-processing is messing with that. I had to guess. Did you? Oh, interesting. Wait, so you're not using... Oh, it's because you're using the... The like default post-processing it made that tone mapping. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so what I would actually like is to take the post-processing of you and copy you over. And go testing post-process. Something along those lines. And then where was the actual volume there? Go and take you. Which this will probably need different post-processing now. You still have double the lights, don't you? So let's cut that out. Get rid of you. I guess you can keep the camera. Let's just... I don't really... We're going to be viewing most of what we're making right now through just normal scene view stuff. And I'll just have the camera not be in the ground, I guess. I would just... okay, I was going to have it be, like, actually just straight on. But you know what? Fine. You can be at a funky angle if you really want to be. Okay. That's not done yet. I will separate some of this into game objects just to kind of keep things separated. Conveyor belts and lasers, and then the thing we're going to be doing now that I don't know fully what to properly call, but something like procedural movement. I basically want to make a little thing that's going to be moving procedurally, but like by kind of like a little like a robot arm that like drags itself. That's kind of a almost like a spider leg kind of a thing. That's roughly thing I'm hoping to attempt today. But we're just having to do a little bit of initial setup first, which hopefully isn't too monotonous. This is just an empty game object from some environment stuff. I shouldn't need this lighting because the two things that are lighting are pretty much identical. I'll put you under you. You can be... I guess the lighting up in this of the whole scene, like that won't be separated by the things. Then lasers. Ground, lasers, wall. Why do you have a bunch of walls? Oh, those walls, yes, of course. Okay. Now, I don't know if, as I'm making these things, if I want it to... There's a few ways I could go about what it is that I'm currently doing. I can make this, like, so massive going off to infinity, kind of. Almost. Interesting, you have a sort of dark spot going around just because the way the lighting currently is generated and stuff in the stuff with the, I think, reflection probes. I could make little, like, room chunks that could be kind of cool looking. Like if I basically went... Ooh, give you the same blueprint thing. Now you're not going to be fully a wall, but basically if I turn this into a kind of a grid, I'm just messing around with some just test environment stuff that's not super important here. Is this too big? Maybe you don't need to be this big. Until you actually need to for some reason. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Actually, I don't remember if the fact that I move this down, I don't know if that's going to break anything or not. I guess we're going to find out. But just, do I care to actually do this? I don't necessarily need to, but I was going to going to attempt just like, section these two things off. Pretend it's like part of the style, I guess. And then go off to the next space. Well, I mean, okay, this is very like... ideally, I was going to have things actually being in more of a box properly. So if I did something more like... Not like that. Whoa, no you don't. Go like this. And go like this. Let it be a tic-tac-toe board a little bit. Roughly, doesn't need to be exact. And then if I were to move all the conveyor belt stuff to just being like here, and you know what, you can go off to the side a bunch, that doesn't matter. And then the laser stuff. Put you... Oh no, this is bad. I don't want to I don't want to shuffle these things around and make new like how these things are actually looking. But you know what? Okay. Seeing this in action, I like the idea of separating stuff, but not. I don't think the walls are necessary. I don't think they need to be actually like divided like that. So let me just do a little undo, but move this over like yeah, and then lasers over. This is so unnecessary, but whatever. It can be like here, and then we're gonna work on this new thing just over here somewhere. Not super important, but blah, blah. I'm just curious to if I go into play mode, is this stuff still gonna be functional? The lasers definitely should be because they're just like that. These. It looks like your seed changed. Or, I'm guessing just being in a new scene is what's the submarine affecting that, but that's not important. Okay. So with that setup out of the way, next we're gonna start doing the actual thing that I want to do, which again I said I'm not sure how it's gonna actually go because I haven't planned it too much, but you know we'll see. So yeah, just if I want how much I want to maybe separate things, and it should be fine. Okay. So I'm gonna start by. Are these glowing slightly? Look like they're glowing ever so slightly, and they kind of shouldn't be. Let me also clear the light data here. That's the bloom being a little bit much. It kind of worked in the other scene with when it was just the laser stuff. But here, I need like a little bit of bloom for the lasers to actually have that laser effect. Basically, the entire reason that it's there, but it didn't be too strong. Okay, so this procedural movement. How are we doing this? I'm actually gonna copy one of these blocks to kind of use as the start of what this thing's gonna be. What? Where did that wall go? It was one of these walls. Oh, wall pivot. Oh, why did I? Oh, right. I made that wall pivot for it made it easier to place that in like a very specific position so the laser reflected off it in a very specific way. Okay, so we're gonna call this body because actually, well, I don't know what to call this, the actual thing that's going to be moving, whether it's going to be like a robot, spider, whatever. I'm also pressing all the wrong buttons. Just going to call this... Call it player, just, bot, whatever. Let's going to call it bot, like being a robot. And then underneath... So, I guess we'll work off it kind of being... What the heck is this? This is... Is this the laser? Or stuff with the laser that shouldn't be here? Well, what's doing this? Like, it could be the laser itself, but it shouldn't be because the laser shouldn't... Oh, it's because I gave it the end cap vertices, isn't it? I'd prefer if that wasn't like that, but okay. Yeah. Temporary fix. I'm just going to have the starting position of these things be under the map. And it's fine. Out of the way. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay. So, you... Zero things out. I was about to say, well, okay, I was about to say, like, would it be a problem, will it be a problem for stuff to have, like, because we're going to be doing some physicsy things here, and I don't know if the scale of things are going to mess with things. I guess we're going to find out. So, my weird idea with this, and even this body itself might change. I just need something that kind of represents the body of this player here. Might give it different material as well. Hold on. That's just from this, right? I mean, that I can tell a bit of the bloom is there. Whatever. You can be red like you're an enemy. The bloom is, yeah, no, that's too much. But the problem is if I turn it off completely, then the lasers don't laser good. If I believe. Yeah, look at how boring that is. Though I could, like... So having this be kind of glowing just a little bit. But having this, ideally, like, not really glowing at all. Maybe a little tiny bit is fine. I suppose I could take the actual... If the color here is darker. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me... Instead, just make some... Again, just having to do still a little bit more setup of things. Drag bot? I don't know. The robot that's going to be dragging itself around is the idea. Just that it can look visually neat and interesting. So it's going to copy you, put you under... we'll make the body and arm just different colors just because. Put you on you. You can be darker. I can even change... Oh, yeah, you can be that orange, I guess. Do I make you... I think I like that gray on it. Maybe a little darker. The not being completely black. And helping kind of stand out from the background is about to be like an actual moving thing. Okay, then... Arm. Okay, so the idea... I don't know how much of this I'll kind of return to in Blenderify, but... I effectively want something kind of like... this. Do these have colliders on them? They do. I might have to do more to set up the actual, like, pivot stuff with this, but... It's basically this. I wanted to see if I could have a thing here, and actually even this I think is too long. See if I could procedurally code whatever, get this thing to move by sort of flexing it's kind of a finger. I'm thinking of it kind of like a spider leg. Oh, X-Men lifts. Hello, hello. Hello, my man. I've rendered my first triangle. Neat, cool. I remember, yeah, before you were saying you were doing, yeah, manual graphically things. So, yeah, cool. Definitely be able to just render anything, having it work is a great first step. So, awesome. Fantastic. So what we're doing here, we basically just started this, and I don't know how this is gonna go. Frankly, this might go, might be a dumpster fire of like not working, but we're gonna find. Let's go arm upper and then arm lower. These will be slightly different colors. I just am attempting to make a bit of, oh, it's very orange. Some procedural movement stuff, just for fun. I currently have no plans on what this might be used in. I just had an idea of like, if I could make such a thing, this could be cool. But I don't know how it's gonna go, frankly. Let's give this some random colors, whatever. Yeah, you can be red. I'm making my 2D graphics library. Yeah, that was it. So having triangle with colors is the first step. Yeah, both. Yeah, the two things in there. One, just hey, I drew something, and then actually getting in colors and having to be able to change colors. So yeah, very, very cool. When you have two triangles, then you'll have a quad, and then you basically have what I have here, just a bunch of squares. Yeah, best of luck with that. Although I spent so long on making it pixel perfect in Direct 3D, I had some issues with converting it from screen space to normalized device coordinates. Oh boy. Yeah, oh, so like at first it was being drawn like directly flat to the screen, and then trying to have it actually like have a position as if it's, like it's in a scene here kind of thing. The viewport apparently includes the border. That was my first problem. I didn't know that. Nor did I. Yeah. Interesting, I guess. So I used the client area for my viewport because I thought... Or I used the client area for the viewport because I thought this is where I'm rendering. So it affected my calculation. Yeah, fun. I've had to do a little bit of that in school. Forget basically all of it now. But yeah, all the calculations you have to do to effectively have a camera that's moving around a scene, and with translating how different objects are around and how they stretch and like all that. it's a math nightmare. So best of luck to you with that. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, so what as I say, what I'm attempting to do here is having a thing that kind of drags itself around or whatever. Now, so okay, this is the start of this, which I'm going to need to sort of change to have some actual proper pivots or whatever, but I'm going to have some rotation, but thankfully only 2D. Yeah, if it's 2D, that does probably make it a lot, like, significantly easier than going fully 3D, especially when you get into, like, lighting and shadows and all that. It gets, like, extremely super difficult. Once you start having just a lot of also like rotations and stuff involved, like, yeah, it's gonna be hard. So before I go further in this, I want this to be like a it's gonna look kind of like a spider leg. I envisioned it in my head of like the end being like a point, like it would dig into the ground and then drag itself, kind of a thing. So that being said, do I want to care to Blender model something right now? Also, in this, like, purposely, I'm, like, not going to be, other than, like, some of these, like, simple colors, I'm not going to be caring super a lot about the graphical side of it. It kind of can have a certain charm of being this, I don't even know if you'd call this low poly, but, like, this purposely simplistic, blocky kind of art style to it. That being said, I think I want to have it basically be, and I'm also fine with it being, like, disconnected points that are sort of turning. If I really, like, cared eventually later on, I could just put kind of, like, ball joints in there or something to fake as if stuff is connected. But we're not, like, that's like visual fluff that we wouldn't be too concerned with at this point in time. What I will do, I think, is make something so that this actually goes to a point. I've also noticed that, yeah, so these don't match, so let me just, blah. I want this to be like a perfect kind of square thing. I don't know if that'll make the calculations easier, but we'll see, we'll see. And the vertex issue really confused me. The second issue really confused me. The right vertex is offset by 1 always. The right vertex being offset by 1. So again, I've never coded my own from scratch, like 2D library stuff, and I've learned about some stuff, that kind of stuff in school, and I don't know, depending on what you're coding in, if it's going to have different rules, but that's not something I remember being familiar with. I assume it's because you can add the size of the triangle to the left vertex, and then it'll give you the correct position because it offsets by 1. Sure, your guess is as good as mine as why that works. But super annoying when you don't know that, yeah, the X position is offset, so if I say pixel position is 2, then it becomes 1. Sure, because reasons. I don't have an answer as to why that would be that way, but yeah. Okay, so with making this thing, I just want to make a little quick this, but wait, so actually I should now that I think about it, since I'm bothering to make any kind of Blender model, should I just make this as 3 separate models in Blender and then port it all over? Problem with that is if I want to change it if I'm slightly tweaking around the positions of stuff, that might get annoying. So, and if the point of this was to mainly be more Unity-centric anyways, so I've answered my own question out loud in that I'm just going to, oh, I'm doing stuff on another screen where you can't actually see it. I'm going to just make the single Blender model and then try to let the rest be just from dealing with Unity stuff. So the scale of this guy is, let me just get it perfect, to be 1.3, 0.3. I don't love 0.3. I would like the actual number to be a bit more, not 3. I don't know if that will cause me significant problems. I don't know how big this should be. This thing should be tiny. I can always change stuff. Yeah, I'm missing messages. It only affects the right vertex of the triangle. The two others are correct. Learning all the small nuances of an API can be quite annoying for me anyway. Yeah, any like new thing that you're trying to learn will have, yeah, little weird things. It's like, why is it this way? Why yeah. Like, why is it this way? But then there's some explanation out there for why, potentially. But it's done now, which is very nice. Yeah, very, very cool. I also found out the triangle is always rendered clockwise. If it's not clockwise, it will just not render. Yeah, that's kind of, in a very rudimentary way, how they'll do, like, front-face culling versus back-face culling in a way. Yeah, it would be clockwise if it's sort of towards the camera, counterclockwise if it's not facing the camera, and then that's, like, the idea that, like, then you don't render it because it's facing away. I do remember that being a thing. Yeah, so, ooh. Yeah. Okay. What was I doing? Making this. Am I going with 0.4 and then? Yeah, I guess that's what we're going with. Okay, so 0.1, 0.4, 0.4. I just need. Wow, it's a block. Am I fine with how like long it is? Yes. Well, actually, wait. On one hand, this doesn't matter that much. On the other hand, it matters quite a bit because if I, when we start actually programming this thing to work, then making these changes might be a problem. Yeah, I think I'm deciding basically, like, relative to this fake body that I've made, should the arms be, like, longer than it or shorter than it? Doesn't matter that much. This is, like, what? This is conceptual anyway. Yeah, I don't know the reason behind it, but it's just an observation. But now I know. I also found out that my GPU could render millions of triangles a second. Yeah, GPUs are good for that. Doing, like, a whole bunch of, like, small tasks all in succession. Yeah. So, okay, 1.5 is what we're going with. 0.4, 0.4. Sure. So now I just, like, the old reason I'm doing this is then take this. Do I want it to be a perfect point or, like... Yeah, yeah, I do, I think. Why am I forgetting it's like merge by distance. Wow. This is arm lower. Get rid of the camera, get rid of the light, save you. You are definitely not in the correct directory, so let me go back and find where I actually want this. Drag bot. Okay. Still doing what I'd consider setup that isn't the actual coding. Although I fear that when we actually get to the coding that we might be stumped for a while because I'm like, I have the most bare bone basic starting point of a plan, but that's not having a complete plan. Arm dash lower. I'll catch up in messages in a sec. So my like my UI will never reach the millions. Yeah. So it's nice not be bottlenecked by rendering. Yep, that's for sure helpful. Just the less you have to care about performance, the more you can focus on the actual building the things that you want to make. So that's cool. Bottlenecked by file input output. Oh yeah, that's a big thing that takes a lot of performance. Yep. Although I noticed my CPU is bad at rendering. Yeah, every time my CPU has to software render, it's super slow. Yeah, that's GPUs are kind of, they're meant for be able to do rendering stuff fast, where CPUs aren't as good at that particular task, because GPUs are more meant, like they're more built for that task of rather doing one big complicated thing, doing a whole bunch of simple things fast in succession and all that. Anyways, okay, arm thingy, you should be able to just, I have Blender default stuff. Okay. And then you should be able to just replace this guy. And you're rotated the wrong way. I'm not going to care that much about that. Like, I'll just... that I can rotate manually. I don't know if I'm going to care about rotation stuff, but we're going to find out. Okay, so question is, can this take in this material and look not terrible? It'd be interesting have it you can use the global one, but this will mean that as it moves, it'll do this, which, to be fair, kind of looks cool. It's something I could play with after it's like more working, but for now I'd rather it be more static. But that doesn't look like the worst thing, I suppose. It's fine. It's just... I say as long as I then continue to modify. It's good enough. Feel like my brain, I am a GPU. Haha. I mean, hey, the brain is doing lots and lots of calculations all the time. Oh, yeah. Anyways, okay, so that's that. Actually, do I change you again and be 1? Just to be a bit more, having the kind of the same density as... I'm gonna do this. Ooh, that this happened to... That happens to be perfect. I can pretend this was on purpose. Oh, but then you lose out on that. Hold on. Just... Don't mind me doing... What's like the most I can get away with, like that much? Don't mind me doing meaningless graphical stuff. So, okay. In theory, the idea is that then this will kind of... Yeah. However, these aren't going to rotate off of these good, so I need to make the, like, rotation points. Like, I mean, so, okay, I mean, 2 things I can do. 1, if I made this like a Blender object where then the pivot point is here, that's a thing I can do. I think... I don't know how much I'm going to need to care about this, but for now, I'm just going to try the option of letting these be, like... I want to try to keep this more Unity focused, not Blender focused, if I can. I don't even understand half the calculations my brain does. I don't think even neuroscientists understand like 2% of all the calculations that the brain does. We know a lot about how the eyes work. We don't know a whole, well, it's like, well, as far as the senses go, we know a lot about how the eyes work. We know some stuff about how the ears work. We know, like, we aren't quite sure how the nose work and taste. No. I took a class, one like elective in university that basically was going over stuff with like how senses work with the brain and whatnot. I just remember that like half the course was basically talking about eyes, and then like a quarter was talking about ears, and then the rest of them were kind of shoved at the end. But so that was a thing. Anyway, so. But if this is to be the, let me go this back to actual pivot, to be the kind of center of the thing itself, and we'll say that this is actually in line with the floor. Well, sort of. I'll move it up so the thing can like fall when it first spawns. I don't know if I'll want that, but yeah. Move this down. I just want this to be perfectly on top. Is it? Yeah. So that the floor of it is basically there. What it's good at is organizing code. The only thing it's good at keeping structure and practice. Yeah. I can maybe sort of code, but I can't, like... One thing I really struggle at with Unity is like lighting and graphical stuff. Something I'm trying to get better at, but still have far to go. Okay, so this is gonna be arm upper pivot, and you're gonna go perfectly there. Well, actually, to account for... I ideally don't want these to actually intersect, so I'm going to purposely let there be sort of floating limbs. So you're going to go out more like this much. And then you're going to go under you. Oh. Right, you're going to inherit... Oh, right. That's a slight problem. Do I care? Should I just... The problem is because the body is, like, scaled. When I have this being underneath, it's going to inherit that scale in a weird way. It's going to affect these weirdly. Ideally, it probably will throw off the physics. Or these have different scales. I don't want to have to make blendery stuff, though, if I can help it. They're just cubes of different sizes, though. Deciding. Fine. Well... Okay, fine. You win. You win. Unity and Blender things. Nonsense. Nonsense, I say. just cube. Blah. I basically just need to give this the same proportions anyway. So we have the body bit, and then okay, just gonna remake this real quick. Just yeah, this is probably like if I don't do this now, it'll probably cause me more pain later. If I want to be adjusting like the pivots and all that, the fact that I gotta do through Blender's a little bit annoying, but oh well, doable. Okay, you just real quick throw this up on other screens so that I can just read in exact scales of things. So 2, 2.5, and you're slightly above. You're like resting right on as if this is the ground. Oh, missing messages. My first projects were absolutely garbage. Yep, that's the case with everyone. Initially learning to like do any things takes time and practice and stuff. Hey, now we got a 2D view. Cool. Oh, what I'm doing? Yeah, it's in 2D, 3D a little bit. I mean, I'm getting slightly better at visualizing 3D, but I couldn't code anything of it. Once I couldn't even code 2D, so it's a learning progress, I guess. Yeah, watched a tutorial on Direct 3D and understood nothing, so I started my UI project with Direct 2D, which I could barely understand. And it makes sense if you learn how to do the 2D, that'll be like foundational steps to then jumping into the 3D, where it gets immensely more complicated, I imagine. Then I got better and more familiar that I could start 2D in Direct 3D. Perhaps, yeah. Okay, so this is body. This is arm upper, and your dimensions are 1.5, 0.4. Why you? What the heck? You shouldn't be. Oh, because I typed you in the wrong spots. 1.5, 0.4. I was gonna say you shouldn't be larger than the other thing. Okay. So I want to build this with it in the kind of flat position for it to then like rotate by code and stuff. But starting in this sort of base position will probably be easier. Should this have the same height as this? I'm basically the idea. Oh, I guess now that I've put this in Blender somewhat, I could now have the actual like not have to make additional objects that are pivots. I could just have this be on its own like this. So if I was fine with it intersecting, I could have it be like that, and then it would do that, but I don't want to. We'll have this start slightly off the ground, I think. That should be fine. Perhaps. It was like a stepping stone for me, and now I need to learn how to put textures on my quads. Right now it's just a color, some UV mapping things. Yeah, that's a whole thing. UV mapping is complicated. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is have this be slightly, by having the pivot here, it can rotate up a lot before it were to intersect with the body, which is what I'd rather be the case. Okay, so now, same deal with this guy. Well, I don't know how much how much of these rotate. I want it to be able to rotate more than that, so I guess this isn't taking too long. It would have taken less time to have just done this from the beginning rather than attempting to not do that. I mean, it's okay. It is like okay if they intersect a little bit, as long as it doesn't mess with the actual physics of this, but just graphically having it not intersect would be good. If I really wanted to, do I just do it now? Well, whoa. I want to kind of deal with less objects if I can help it, but I might, just for funsies. Let's actually, well, this will be smooth shaded, so it won't really matter which way it's facing. But if I just did a little bit of this, have effectively this ball joint idea, then it'll like look like it's rotating around this and be better. I don't know what, you can be 0.3, that's fine. Something like this, yeah. So now, in theory, these spheres won't have colliders. They are purely graphical. Actually, I could call these pivots. Well. I guess, yeah. Well, deciding. I'm not sure based on how... Oh, I didn't mean to delete that. Nope. Come back here. Call it ball joint, whatever. I'll, try to more separate the, coding-y things from the more visual stuff. Okay, ball joint lower, ball joint upper. Yeah. Okay, so the things that actually need to be parented properly are the upper arm needs to be parented to the body without inverse. No, wait. No, hold on. Before I go any further, I want to apply. The whole point of, part of what doing this is applying the rotation and scales. So, yeah. Yes. Okay, so now you and, hold on. You and you parent under you. Nope, just not with an inverse, just normal stuff. And then you and you parent under you. So to rotate this, it rotates along. I rotate this, they're going up and down. I rotate this, it's just this. Yeah. That's what I wanted. Now, actually, well, okay, the positions might be not good because I want this to be able to, like, screech in a lot. Oh, I missed some more messages. But, Skittles, hello. Welcome to the stream. Now I just need to learn how to put the, yeah, alright, I already read that part. Right now it's just a color, so you guys think, yeah. If everything goes to, I can always, combine Direct 2D and Direct 3D. So, Direct 3D only handles my geometry, but so I want to try my best. Well, yeah, best of luck with that. Hope that goes well for you. And yeah, Skittles 546. Hello, we are, attempting just... I had an idea for a thing that I wanted to try and make, and we are attempting to make this thing. Not for anything super specific, just because, yeah, an idea I had that I wanted to do. So, okay, again, it doesn't... Actually, because I want this to be kind of physicsy, rigid body-y, it might matter that that these intersect. I don't know if the colliders are going to go haywire with each other. I think the spheres themselves won't have collision, because they don't need it. So this is partially fixed. A thing for all the things. Yes. I can show you real quick. One thing that I'm actually working on. So I'm making a YouTube video, making another Unity tutorial, and this is some stuff that we made for that. I'm just gonna mute. It has audio, just ignore that. This is still very much a work in progress, so look, this is a clip that won't, like, I'm just taking the audio file from this, and then there's gonna be gameplay footage on top of it, so ignore that. I also need to trim stuff off the beginning and end of every single one of these clips, which is like tedious editing-y stuff that I'm gonna be doing between streams. But yeah, basically for the next video I'm making, this is sort of the style that I want to present it in, where it's like in a Unity we have this background that's just a little like grid thing, and then this like monitor. I'm still messing around with how it's visually gonna look and the lighting and whatnot, but effectively it's a video where then each clip that happens, it like monitor swings away, next one swings in. Actually, the next clip here is my intro, so I'll let the but again, I need to trim stuff off the end, off the beginning and end of every single one of these. But in a second, you get intro music. Yeah. Already made the new slightly modified intro for this video. So yeah, and ignore me laughing like a maniac. But yeah, so this is idea. Right, actually, that's the only clips of. No, there's one from above. The clips can come in from left, right, up, and down. There's a whole like thing here that we coded with how this works. This video has 18 clips total. It has even like some little debug things, but you can see, yeah, basically just the monitors here, they like swing in with the camera. It's, yeah, stuff we're still playing around with, but so far it's shaping up nicely. But there's more I want to mess with. And then this isn't the only video that I want to make in this style. Beautiful scientist. Thank you. Oh, it's all for VFX? Yeah, it's basically like, yeah, VFX stuff, but I wanted to like potentially, depending on the editing you're doing, I could have done stuff similar to this in like if I was a professional editor in editing programs. But I want to do it purposely because I'm a Unity guy. More like I'm a programmer doing C# stuff. I wanted to like do C# programming stuff being involved in this video. And ideally, I want to then make more videos with this style, but kind of do more with it each time. Like, I want to, like, ideas that I want to play around with, but I don't know where they're going to go. Playing around with, like, having the background being more, like, having more stuff going on, maybe some moving elements, but I don't know if moving elements will be too noisy. The monitor itself could be, like, slightly swaying up and down, stuff like that. Could be, like you know, dust particles, whatever. The screen of me talking could be all, like, fuzzy and staticky or whatever. There's gonna be background music playing through the whole thing, so, like, that's a component. Again, the clips themselves will be like, most of them won't be me talking to the camera. They're going to be actual, like, I'm just taking the audio files of most of these, and there'll be footage of, like, code or of a Unity scene, like showing something in the inspector, or, like, one of these I talk about a game that I made, so, like, gameplay footage of that, and, yeah. Mad scientist, yep, that me, with the lab coat. So yeah, basically, this is like a very bare bones of thing of this idea that I had for how I want to present the next couple videos, and then I want to keep doing more with it and make it cooler and make it more justified that I'm doing this in Unity. But I think it's cool. It's cool so far. But anyways, this isn't what we're working on today. I'm still working on this. I'm still working on this, but the next thing I need to do with this video, because we're doing some stuff with this on stream, but the next thing I need to do is just all the trimming the beginning and ends off of all the clips, and I don't really want to do that on stream because there's no way that's interesting. So I'm saving that for, like, I'm going to be doing that myself between streams and stuff. But, over here. Oh, and also, by the way, so, I forget Skittles, I forget the last time that you were in a stream, but I don't remember if you saw this. This is a game that I made in 9 days when I got back into streaming. And the video, part of the video talks about this game. So the video is a Unity tutorial where I take something that I did while making this game and I'm turning that into a tutorial on its own. But as part of the video, I mentioned, hey, I made this game. Here's like a brief sentence or two about it. So yeah, I'm also gonna be getting footage from this game and stuff like that. This is no time to think. Basically, it's, yeah. Cube, you move around in a grid-based fashion. Simple thing, yeah. Very interesting choice with Unity, though. I've heard Blender, Unreal, and many others use VFX, but never Unity. It's entirely a matter of, because it's software that I use and use frequently and whatnot. Definitely using it for a purpose with which it's not really designed. If I wanted to, I could have potentially done similar things in Blender. But if I were doing some stuff like this in Blender, it would be a lot more through animation and, like, modeling and whatever. By doing it in Unity, a lot of what's gone into the flipping of the monitors and stuff with, like, the ordering of the clips is through code. The main reason why I'm doing this through Unity is to automate a lot of it with code. Currently, it's not all manually, like, I'm not manually defining, like, this video, like, this monitor moves in at this second, and then it goes away at this second, and this one comes in at this second, or it goes away at this second, which I could have done. Unity has the tools to do that kind of thing. But instead, I just like coding. I don't know. I just enjoy programming stuff. So, like, doing things in C#. So I opted to, yeah, automate things through code because it was just more enjoyable for me personally to make than the tediousness that would have been doing it manually through animator timeline stuff. So with this, I've defined, like, here's a list of clips that I pass in with the different directions and whatnot, and then it automatically, it's like, play one from this one, and then play the next from this one, and yeah. Yeah, I get it, it's just different. I like visual programming. I do as well. This kind of thing where I'm programming stuff that makes visual results happen is way more interesting to me than, like, oh, you changed a number in a database. Good for you. I don't know. Especially with Unity with C# specifically, compared to other programming languages where I'd have to deal with more, like, memory management and stuff like that. Yeah, I like C#. And, yeah, because, I mean, in Python, you can technically program stuff. You can make add-ons in Python. I've never done that before, though, so I wouldn't even know where to start with that kind of stuff. I've used Python before, but never in, like a Blender context. Did a very similar idea, but I can't code well, so I just use the node-based stuff. That's fair. That's fair. It's like using your strengths, right? Like if you're really good at animating, you do animating-y graphical stuff. I'm good at programming, so I use programming to make up for my lack of skill in 3D modeling, animation, and like the other parts of Unity, I guess. Well, you know how there's geonodes? Yeah. Or are you talking about Unity or Blender in this case? Are you talking about Blender's geometry nodes? I.e. over in like, ooh, this kind of stuff. I am aware that Blender. So I'm aware that geometry nodes exist. I've seen some really, really cool stuff that has been made with that kind of stuff. I have yet to actually learn how to use them and whatnot. Nor do I know how or if any of that stuff can translate to Unity. Like, I don't know if you can do anything with geometry nodes and expect to be able to export that to Unity, unless you're making a rendered, like, video file, then it's just a video file. Or, like, maybe that could be helpful for me to, like, generate textures and stuff. It really is something I should learn at some point, but just haven't gotten around to it. There's an add-on for Blender called Procedural. It's basically trying to replicate node-based procedural like Houdini. Interesting. I'm aware of Houdini, the program, existing, but another thing that I haven't looked into too much. Currently, Blender is my go-to for all things software or texturing or whatever related. Yeah. Yeah. I was also noticing, the parenting of this technically isn't completely correct. One sec. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, whatever. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. Oh well. I guess wrapping back around to what we're actually doing here. So because I'm still working on that, so the main thing that I'm currently, as far as like my overall stuff with making content and like whatever, the current thing that I'm focusing on is making that video with that stuff that you just saw. But it's very much not ready yet. So, and the next stuff that I want to be doing with it is, like I said, stuff that I probably not going to be doing on stream, but I still want to be streaming because I want to be streaming somewhat consistently and whatever. So that's why this stream, I'm just like, oh, here's a thing I've never done in Unity. I'd like to try doing it just because. Oh, I've updated Blender, so that's why all my my settings are yeah, where is it? Preferences are like undone. There's probably an easy way to be like, hey, this version of Blender, take in the settings from this other version of Blender, but whatever. I don't care to do that right now. It's stuff I can look into later on. Where is the undo steps? Up that real quick. The only two things I really care to change right now. Yeah, I love the idea of procedural. Yeah. An additional thing with that, where you get cool behavior out of doing things procedurally. Oh, the Blender file name is wrong. Why am I forgetting what to call it? I'm calling this a drag bot because I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just need to now actually fix the rotations of stuff. The default rotation of this thing. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter. In Unity, it can be like whatever, but then like on start, the first thing it does is I flatten out these rotations. This ideally should be. Oh, right when I started talking to you skills, there was like a thing that I was about to point out, like, oh, this is a problem. Here's how we're gonna fix it, and then I kind of never did that. So let's do that first. What was I saying? Procedural is also cool because with programming, you could have more randomness involved, such as. With this, with this screen, with how it comes in, it doesn't have to actually come in flat against the screen. I have stuff set up so that I can have a clip come in and be like, where's the monitors? Canvas. Wait, am I blind? It's here. I can have the monitor like come in on an angle, so if I define it like maybe like oh, and I don't know. Then I can. Well, okay, I'll have to, like, copy it over or whatever, but still relatively, like, this isn't super tedious to do. Blah. Blah. So then this first one, when I go into play mode, it'll... Right. Wrong one. Hold on. That's just, I copied stuff in the wrong place. That wasn't the code not working. That was just, I put stuff in the wrong place. I assumed that the, I need because I put that with the left monitor, I need to have it be on a, yeah, one's come from the left. So there we go. So, woo, yeah, the code was fine. That was just my own, yeah, it was user error. See, by just changing some numbers, I have this coming on to the side. Randomness. Yeah, random, but random in a specific way with limits to aspect and controlled by many aspects. Yeah, random is not like true do whatever, like controlled randomness. Yeah, you get that. So that's cool. Another thing, I guess how we're literally just about to be kind of doing more procedural stuff. So the main meat and potatoes of what this stream was meant to be was working on this thing here. Let me just let me redrag you in, but like over here. No, you should be underneath. Something like that. And then you should be renamed just body or something. Anyway, so and then I should be fine to delete these guys. The thing that we're hoping to do here today is... Oh, no. The rotation of this stuff is going to be messy. No. The whole point was to be not that way. Oh, well. Do you have to be facing... I guess it doesn't really matter what way you're rotating, but I'm still going to do this anyway and hope for it to be fine. And I need to fix the materials and stuff as well. Yeah. So I basically just have this thing that I want to be rotating in or moving in a procedural way. The idea, which I don't know how it's gonna go, was to have it be like, it's like dragging itself, like having it kind of like a almost looking like a spider leg, and this like digs into the ground. It like pulls the body forward and then kind of reaches like that. I don't know. I just thought of like, oh, look, maybe yeah, this is being a thing that I could try to do because procedural animated stuff is very cool. And in theory, once we get this working, if it's doing stuff through physics, then it, yeah, has that kind of randomness to it. Rather than being, like, I could program, or I could, animate this, like, just make it an animation or whatever, but by happening through code, it has the chance to be cool. And then I can continue to modify it and do more with it. Like, I don't know if I could do stuff with this actually, like, sticking in a surface to have it, like, almost, like, crawl up a wall or something. Like, right now, I have no specific plans for where I would use this, but if this goes well and then I modify or whatever, eventually it could be like in the game that I'm working on, the Handyman with the Unicycle, this could be like an enemy or a hazard or something, but you know, we'll see. Or like some modified version of this, but like based on the same kind of idea. Who knows? I think it needs one more joint for that. Oh, it might. So the thing I was gonna say is the actual... Oh, right, you're gonna... Oh, you are gonna scale. Oh. Well, not if I scale the innards. The thing I was gonna say, it doesn't matter, because in this like very bare bones example, it doesn't matter if these clipped with through each other, but it'd be nice if they didn't, so I was gonna just shrink the arm real quick. But yeah, it might need more joints. The one thing that I am knowing going into this is the more joints it has, the funkier the coding is gonna be. I still actually don't quite fully know how I'm gonna program this. We're gonna get to that. It's already 11, so I actually don't even know if we'll get to that today at this rate, but hopefully we do. But yeah, yeah, that is true. The idea would be that this would like stick into the ground, and then ideally we make it so that this point like doesn't move, like as if it's actually like. I could even maybe let it go like further below, slightly below the surface or something. Maybe I don't know if the physics will be good for that though. I don't know. And then. Yeah, the idea... Oh, right. Oh, shoot. Yeah, because then... Thinking ahead. Where's my arrows? Why can't I... I'm forgetting how to... Show me... Arrows. Why am I not seeing, like, the normal draggy arrows? I know this... I've had this happen sometimes in Blender, and I have no memory of how to... see the proper movement arrows again. But you know, whatever. Okay, I guess we're just gonna say, I'm just gonna not worry about it. On the left. Yeah, I know there's these, but it's not like tool. Tool. What do you mean, tool? Pick arrow tool. No, tool's third one. Well, okay, yeah, this, but this isn't like, this is the, when you've seen the, so like, yeah, but it's not the same as like the normal, if I open up a new Blender file, oh no, wait, am I mistaken? Maybe I'm mistaken for something else, never mind, or maybe I'm just thinking of like normal Unity arrows. Like that. I'm 100% just being like, if I hit W, these show up. I'm just confusing Blender stuff for Unity stuff. Don't mind me. Yeah, never mind. I'm the crazy one here. No, it's fine. Yep. 100% just being like, fine. Yeah, just going off of Unity things. Anyways, one thing that will need to happen in theory. Yeah, Blender doesn't use gizmos by default. Yeah. Yep. Can you tell I haven't used Blender in a bit? So in theory, this thing's gonna have to move. But this is going to have to, in theory, it would stay where it was to drag this thing forward. Which also, then that's a lot of intersecting. But I don't know how much, again, I don't know how much I'm actually going to care about that. Back years ago, gizmos didn't even exist, only hotkeys. Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, back in, I started using Blender version 2.7 something. So, yeah, I remember back when the UI was very, very different. So with this, though, like, I could... I fear for introducing, like, if I did introduce a hypothetical, and I'll fix the actual, like, pivot stuff with this in a second if I were to go through with this. If I did this, then it is, like, scarier that then there being more to have to rotate, the coding probably gets extra complicated. However, if I did something like this, made the actual, like, needle thing on this axis a lot smaller. I don't know if this would, pretending that everything's parented correctly, just for a minute. I don't know if this kind of idea would actually work better, for it to be like, small thing kind of stuck in the ground, and then it's effectively... Then this goes back to effectively being 2 points that are, like, turning within one thing going right in the ground. I don't know. This isn't as, like, spidery. I don't know. I imagine a 2-point system. Although, right now, these are the same length. I guess I could 50-50 that idea by, well, no. I was gonna say just making them different lengths. Well, right-click was, select was, hard to get used to, then they changed it. Yeah, I remember those days as well. It's like, why is everything right-click? And I know there was, like, settings to change that, but I was always like, if it's the default, that's what I'm gonna go with, because gotta stick with the defaults. Yeah. So, again, I don't know how much I actually care about, yeah, these intersecting. Although I don't know how much I'm going to be forced to care by if I'm doing this through like physicsy stuff. I was going to say I don't know if I'm doing this by physicsy stuff. Then I don't know how much like if these are intersecting, if that's going to cause me problems. But I guess we'll get to it when we get to it. I've just realized though that the way I'm doing this might be flawed. If I'm assuming that this thing only has like one arm. If I want this to like, as I said, like have this stick in the floor and then stay where it is, and then just the act of this thing turning, dragging the thing forward. I don't know if this should be like kind of the parent of the thing, and then these should kind of go backwards. However, that only works if, that only, like, there's like 2 phases to this, right? There's, in theory, the thing like reaching up and over and then sticking itself in the ground, and then phase 2, then this sort of stops and like moves forward as with this. This would pinch up, this would pinch over. Yeah. Like, this effectively becomes IK or FK or whatever the right... Oh, no, which one is it? So when you're animating like hands and legs in with characters, there's IK and FK, and that's the idea of like you have something holding a bottle and you move the arm and it like is staying anchored to the thing, or like you have a character that's taking a footstep and having their foot basically stay relative to the floor. I don't off the top of my head remember which is with IK. Yeah, this is IK. I'm just gonna. I know it's inverse kinematics versus forward kinematics. Saying those out loud, that no, I think forward kinematics is that it's like the kinematics are going forward through each pivot point. Inverse kinematics being going inverted through that, so starting here and going backwards. Okay, so I didn't even finish Googling it, and I figured that out. So that's a whole thing to actually deal with, or a thing to look at with this, is I never, like, this is basically an armature kind of a situation. I never actually made this, like, I didn't set this up like an actual skeleton, and I don't know if I perhaps should have. Although that's more for like okay, if I had an actual character and like, oh, the arm is actually like bending kind of because it's all one model and it's bending like whatever, or if this was like a spider or a monster arm, then yeah, I could see setting it up through actual like I actually doing stuff through armatures. But the initial like I'm kind of already going to a little bit further in the graphical department than I initially wanted. The initial idea for this was just box pointy thing, and like just turn those things, have it be mostly like Unity stuff going on, just physics, like whatever. I wasn't purposely not thinking that far ahead in terms of like if I want to make this graphically look good. It's meant, the initial idea of this was just leave it being this like, yeah, just a couple boxes. It's like a very prototypey bot kind of thing. Yeah, based on the normal direction of the bone hierarchy. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, I should. This is supposed to be back on the start. I was rotating all this stuff just to kind of make a point. Oh no, how much did I? Yep, okay. Okay, so ideally, I'm gonna try to. Oh, so you just reverse the hierarchy and have child copy rotation from parent to cancel it out. I can do that. Would that be a problem? So okay, one thing I'm trying to. So right now, this is a potential thing that only uses one arm. Thinking ahead, if this was like a spider leg kind of a situation, it could be possible that once I get this working, maybe I make, you know, some kind of second arm thing, like have it be able to like drag itself in two directions or whatever. Thinking ahead to if I did that hypothetical thing, like actually messing with like actually changing stuff in the hierarchy might not work the same. Maybe, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. But like maybe I shouldn't be thinking that far ahead because I don't even know if I'm going to do with that with this particular thing. Yeah, then don't do that. Yes. yeah. Anyways, but I'm doing a lot of. Again, I don't actually know how far I'm going to take this. This is just like, hey, here's a thing I could do for a fun stream. Yeah. Let me just start with this and start to actually code stuff and then see what problems arise when I do. Okay. So bring this back into here. Let me just get the materials on this, and we'll see like what Googling I'll need to do to get this to actually function right. But oh well, we'll get there when we get there. All right, these are now thrown off. Well, haha. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you like that. You are gonna be like this. Doing like a tiny bit of graphical work. I don't need to spend too long on it. I guess you're gonna be 0.5 doesn't. Oh, well, zero is gonna, yeah. Again, doesn't really matter, but okay, sure. Oh, Vidar, hello, welcome, and I see solve a Rubik's Cube, so that I can do. When I first, so I moved recently. I'm in a new location now. I at first couldn't find this cube because I packed it away separately from the other stuff. I was like, oh no, if I've lost it, like what am I gonna do when people redeem it? But then I found it, so then crisis averted. So as I'm continuing to ramble about what I'm actually going to do here, I guess I can quickly, yeah, do this. So, okay. Again, not setting up a timer. I'm too against the clock to do that right now. But anyways, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Oh, geez. Oh, no. That was immediately a faulty start. Don't mind me. Looking for edges. This is actually my first time solving this in, like, since whenever, like, someone last redeemed it on stream. I'm fumbling so hard with all of this, and every turn I'm making is, like, the most unoptimal turn I could be making at that moment. Why do I keep turning things the wrong way? Jeez, I'm, like, mega ultra rusty on this. Oh, no. Oh, no. Look away. Look away. It's fine. I am very, very bad at F2L and all that. I'm bad at OL too because I don't know all the algorithms, so then I just do random stuff till I get one of the OL cases that I actually know. And then hope and pray. Oh, hey, actually, I know Y-Perm. One of the very few... Bam. One of the very few PLL things I actually know. I wanted to devote more time to actually solving this thing faster and have it then be less embarrassing every time I attempt to on stream where I fumble so much. But eventually, at some point, I got the time for that right now. I'm also going to make material for the ball joints. That's probably... Actually, I don't know if you'll want to have... Because these won't rotate, so to give the fact that they don't rotate, I think I'm actually just going to have them be pure... Either pure black or pure white. Pure a color. Pure black it is, I think. Or maybe like a slight gray. You shouldn't need the grid texture thing for it. Did I just end up right back at the color it started as? That's really funny. Okay, no, go mostly black, but like slightly not pure black. Anyway. You're slightly sticking into the floor, but hopefully it's not a problem. You, I think, are gonna need the Z. Whatever. At some point, I wanted to make this tile thing actually a vector 3, so I could adjust it on like different axes. But whatever, it's fine at the moment. Okay, anyways, not the important part. I'm doing, like, so much that isn't the main thing that I actually wanted to be doing here. Okay. So how am I gonna get this thing to actually move? What happened to the... Oh, hold on, the arm thing. How did you break? You were working before. Is it because I adjusted your size? Ooh. Okay, that's unintentionally looking coolish. So yeah, okay, you can say it like that. Okay, so this thing is going to need a rigid body and the code that I have no idea how this is gonna go. Oh boy. We're calling this drag bot, I guess. There is some degree as well. I'm hoping I can find some stuff with oh, hold on. You're on the wrong thing. This is just meant to be a parent object for the whole, like, whatever group of objects we might make with this in this chunk of the scene. This is we're calling it drag bot, I guess, because it's gonna drag itself around like a... I don't know, I was about to say like a spider. Spiders don't do that, but it's like a spider leg. It's like if a spider only had one leg. That'd be like get around, which is morbid, but whatever. Anyways, you're gonna use gravity, you're gonna be kinematic, you're gonna be allowed to move on all your position rotation-y stuff. And remember to attach the code now. Yes, okay, so starting point is going to be private rigid body RB, and get that. Okay, so also, so these other projects I don't need to actually be doing stuff with right now, so I'm just going to close them just to make things easier. I also don't need code with, I don't need that open. In theory, I shouldn't need Blender open anymore, but, you know, we'll see if I end up having to change stuff unexpectedly. Okay, so where do we start here? Oh, the actual colliders are important. You're gonna... These are actually fine having mesh colliders. The meshes themselves are simple enough that it should be fine. Well, okay, I'm just gonna get a box collider and just fit the mesh. Then the body itself, also box collider. Put you. Yeah, no, you can be there. Okay. Then I purposely want the ball joints to like they're just for visual stuff. They're not gonna do anything. Okay. What now is the question? Wait, I've just realized oh, wait a minute. So actually, with the way that I want this thing to move, this isn't just, yeah, one rigid body thing. Do I need a rigid body on each of these components? Usually it's bad to have rigid bodies under rigid bodies, but I think in this instance it might be fine. Or have I actually done this flawed? Instead of having one thing under another, should these actually be just 3 separate, like, unparented things that have hinge joints? That actually might be how this should be. So at first I was thinking of this like how you'd animate like an arm where you do have like when you have an armature that things parented under thing. If I was rotating stuff like just for an animation where there is no physics involved, then I would have stuff be parented under things like how it is right now. But that is not going to work well for the physics of things, I think. Right? Because, well, I mean, if I were to like let's say apply torque to this thing to get it to spin for whatever reason, then these things underneath should also spin. So, okay, in theory as well, in terms of things actually moving around, the only things that should be moving as far as the physics go is this thing rotating up, this thing rotates down a bit, then I guess this thing rotates down again or something to sort of clamp into the ground. And I don't know if, for now, I might just let the physics go and see what it does. But I don't know if I'll need some extra stuff to make this, like, as if it's, like, digging into the ground, stay at this point and don't move. And then in theory, then both of these should just kind of flex. Like, this curling in at the right rate should then, in theory, be dragging this thing, like the parent thing, forward, is the idea. So again, I say to do that. So at the very least, at minimum, it is the case that all 3 of these things need 3 independent rigid bodies. Now, I don't know. So if that is the thing, I don't know if. Well, okay, it is indeed the case that as this thing moves, this thing should rotate with it. But whether it does that because of a hinge joint or whatever, I don't know. Let's just try it one way and see what happens, and then if it goes catastrophically, then we try it the other way. Before I make a big old switch and then realize that it was the incorrect thing to do. So and again, these 2 bulge joints are just for like visual sake. Yeah. Okay, rigid body and you rigid body. Now, though, I also do realize that if these are, in fact, different rigid bodies, them intersecting would potentially be a problem. Well, I can have them be on different animation layers. And then the body itself needs a rigid body, yeah. We'll start with this, the option of, let's go layer and go, what am I calling this? Well, I'll call it drag bot or something. And then put everything here on that layer so then I can head over to the... Oh, even you, technically. So that I can head over to the... reference... No. not preferences, project settings, and physics. The layer collision matrix, and say that drag bot does not intersect with itself. So now these things won't intersect with each other. And actually, before I actually have done any coding, I can go into play mode and just see that this should flop down. Right, okay. Yes, you don't have anything. So, okay, right. I don't know why I assumed. Right, if it's not gonna collide with each other, yeah, you're gonna need hinge joint. Yeah, is that basically like that have to be? I'm trying to assess, like, is there a better way I should be doing this? Because, like, I've never done this kind of thing before. I'm kind of just thinking off the top of my head. This stuff should be done. Does it matter here which thing has the hinge joint? I'm gonna hope no. I guess then this is also gonna have a. I'm gonna assume, yeah, the lower thing having a hinge to the upper thing. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Start of stuff. For now, so I was imagining, like, the first runs of this, they'll be moving basically in 2D, just dragging itself this way, but I'm not going to limit it from happening to curl a bit to the sides. So we'll see what happens kind of situation. It did go through the floor, though, so I don't actually know why it did that, unless that is just a symptom of the so this collided with the floor, this collided with the floor. I don't know if the fact that this didn't. Oh, whoa. You have a. Oh, right. You have to have a convex collider. Yeah, mesh colliders have to be convex for them to. Yeah, work for rigid bodies like this. Yep. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I'm assuming I'm gonna still have to modify settings on the hinge joint for the actual, like, hinge that's, yeah, rotating around. Cool. But that's a start. That's a start. Okay. So that being said, so I've also just realized another thing that actually is, I think, supporting the second option. If I have this in the ground, if I then move this up, this is going to rotate with it, which makes sense. I potentially don't want that, because I might want, like, if I want this to move up, but then these to, like, stay effectively anchored into the ground, that does support the idea that they aren't parented to each other, which does mean that I think I want to actually separate them, which, if I'm going to do that, I should do that from the blender scene. Oh, is this going to undo? If I move these, is it going to massively break stuff in the scene? We're going to find out. It does mean that I can't, like, test rotate stuff in the blender scene, which is, I guess, unfortunate, but oh well, let's see what happens. Please recognize that these are the same objects just moved. You're really gonna do that? See, this is part of my hesitation with working in Blender, in the Blender scene. In the yeah. Did you at least keep one thing kept? The other things just acted like they never existed at all. Great. So we're gonna not do that way. If I back up and then Control S, you do get back to there. That's good. So I am just going to have to, yeah. So this is some things. It's like, because I've never, some things that I either haven't done in quite a long time or just haven't done at all in Unity. Don't have the best, like, knowing the best way to handle certain situations, but that's kind of stuff that I'm learning on the fly as I'm doing things. Okay, so body here. Now this should be basically the same with, like. Well, I'm gonna move the let's move the order of things. The joints, like, they don't matter. Well, wait, if they don't matter, they're not gonna rotate with stuff anymore. They should. So they will be parented underneath stuff. The upper should be parented under the body, and then the lower should be parented under the upper arm, I think. Yeah. Again, though, it doesn't mean that I can't, like, yeah, it's now annoying that I can't test rotate this stuff in, like, the editor, which is annoying. Yeah. I'm doing all this without Googling anything. It is very, very possible that if I just Googled stuff with how to do this kind of setup, I'll find stuff immediately, but, I can do that another time. I'll probably, like, so, looking at the time, it's 11:25. I would like to stop around midnight, so probably between the this stream and the next one, I'll probably do some amount of Googling. I just don't want to do that right now, because I don't like to just be watching other, like, watching a whole Unity tutorial series, like, in the middle of a stream. I'd rather do that on my own time. Now is the time for content, not other people's content. I don't know. Anyway, so you have a rigid body, and yours is good. You have rigid body and hinge joint, which probably still needs to be set up properly, but we'll get to that. Arm lower. Wait, you don't? What happened to, didn't I have a second hinge joint thing set up? Maybe that got undone somehow? I don't know when or how, but okay, fine. Mesh collider, rigid body, hinge joint. Then you are, just to double check, all the layers are good. So, again, didn't actually set up the hinge joint, but I'll get there in a second. What? I was expecting this to flop down. It should, you know, by default with the way it's set up here. Ooh, yeah, this ain't quite having the behavior I was hoping for it to have, but part of that might be to at the very least, the hinge is not being set up properly. I guess I start with that. Oh, I didn't, oh, this I didn't set what you're connected to. Sure. Okay, your settings are gonna... Yeah, again, weird that I probably should... start the, Why is rotating on that axis doing nothing? Excuse me? Oh, pivot. That's why. Not that that matters that much, but whatever. I should start this with it being like in a default position or something, I imagine. Just start on all zeros, and then I'll fix ya. I don't know, I've chosen why the Y is going to be what I'm kind of correcting that around, but whatever, it's fine. Was this like 3? Nope. And I gotta line it up again. That's fine though. Did it? No, it didn't. Oh, not with that. Okay. You good? You good. Okay, so... now... hinge joint. Yeah, you're very much obviously not where you should be. Anchor... oh yeah, you being a hinge, you are going to only turn on one axis rather than being like a ball joint. For now, I'm going to say that that's fine. So just be like that, you're going to rotate on that axis, and they might be fine. I'm not going to mess with the limits and spring stuff. I could actually, the limits would be useful for not over-rotating. So that'll actually probably be useful for later. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, good start. I imagine I am going to get funky behavior, the fact that I'm, like, you know, moving this by the transforms and not, like... why'd you go through the floor? I'm going to assume that I'm going to get funky behavior because I'm not, like... if I was moving these through... Oh boy. Actual code, then it'll probably work better. Okay. So that's something. Oh, I didn't. I just set this to convex again. That's okay. That's gonna explain why you were having some funky behaviors. So then that means I need 3 rigid bodies. This is gonna be body RB, and since I'm going to get multiple, I'm just gonna make them public variables. It's fine. And then this is upper arm RB, and then lower arm RB. Okay. So then I don't need to get those. Well, I'll drag and drop them now before I forget to, because I know that I will. Body. Arm. Oh. Lower. Okay. So with... So where do I go from here? How do I now proceed? I'm not actually quite sure. So in theory, with the way that I want this arm to work, I actually might not need to touch the body rigid, the body RB, body rigid body. Okay, I guess that's how I've named things. That's what I'm committed to. In theory, the movement that should be happening to some degree is that, I guess, from this starting position, this guy rotates in, but not like all the... How would I... Oh, no, that's now... In theory, this should all be rotating through, like, add torque calls, because that's going to... In theory, this should all be done through add torque calls, because then that's just using the physics, probably. So it needs to add torque to move on this axis until some arbitrary point I define, where then I can be like, okay, that's good enough, stop. This then needs to counter-rotate up, and yeah, that's unfortunate that that's not... Is there a better way to do that with which I've done? I could... Nah, whatever. I don't know. So I need to rotate this up, while then also rotating this down. And then that's the starting thing. Well, actually, technically, so there should be... Okay, what... Okay. Should I start this like this, or should I start it in... It's probably better for the hinge joint to do whatever calculations it does to start in the kind of neutral position, but the loop it'll have is being like already kind of like this. Ideally, it's like it rotates into the ground. Nope, not the ball joint. And then just kind of does this scraping motion. And then I'm hoping that that scraping motion with... Maybe I'll have to reduce, like, the friction on, like, the body or something. But I'm hoping that will equate to moving stuff around. How does this work? I don't know. So I need, as I said, I need this to kind of start here. So we'll start with just this. Just have this thing rotate down and have this rotate up. Put in 2 speeds. And then we'll just kind of see what happens. Okay. So lower arm RB dot add torque. Does it need to be relative torque? It should be like relative to... Yeah, relative to itself. So the direction is going to be new. So, vector 3 dot, what axis are you? The Z axis, good. That's forward. Times a speed that I'm going to put in right now. Public, float, lower arm speed. Technically it's a force, not a speed, but whatever, it's fine. And then upper arm. You know what, fine, I'll put force. naming things what they actually kind of are. Okay, blah. And then, in theory, then upper arm. This should be also fixed update. Yeah. Depending on the directions, I actually don't know if it'll need to be, one of these will need to be negative to rotate the way that I want in this particular instance. Why does your, oh, I copied the wrong thing. Ha. Doesn't matter that much, but I'm just gonna keep these consistent. I guess I've had the upper one first and then the lower one. So this is either gonna work or it's not. My guess is on not. Okay. So, but it's cool to, yeah, do things I don't have much experience doing. And depending, like, if I do this kind of thing now with, like, oh, procedurally rotating stuff with rigid body, it could lead to me then making more, like, getting more ideas for stuff like this to make in, like, the Handman with the unicycle or whatever. We'll try 10 on both. I should probably be testing these one at a time, but here we go. And obviously, so it's going to keep rotating, so in theory it's going to rotate too far. Or not. Hey! Okay, there was movement there. There was movement. There's, you know, a bit too much. But, I wonder if... So I probably should put in those limits, shouldn't I? Because then I could just be like... Rather than having to calculate when to stop, I just could potentially set up the limits and then just be like, rotate till you've hit your limit and then stop and rotate the other way. That could potentially, because like, part of it also with this is I don't need to reinvent the wheel with all the physicsy stuff that I'm doing. I should be trying to, as much as possible, use stuff like hinge joints and all that to, yeah, do less. Do less reinventing the wheel and all that. Okay, so I've never really done stuff with the limits here, so I gotta figure out how to actually do that. In order to do this, I should do this kind of one at a time. So if I go, have the upper arm force be 0, have this be, I guess, 30. I might have to, I'll have to see it with the force if I'll want it to be what it is, or what it's currently, or being, like the force mode, the like continuous one, or like the one that's more the velocity change. We're gonna find out. And also, like, with this being physicsy stuff, with the mass, the drag of things, like, I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna want to modify things. Yeah, we'll get to it. Okay, so. Okay, so the question, I guess, is what should the minimum and maximum things be? And I don't know how this I'm going to assume that it's based on where it starts. So based on this being 0, I'm going to assume that, let's say, like, negative... It actually shouldn't really need to rotate up, but I'm just going to put in, let's say a negative 40 up, because the up doesn't really matter. And then downwards, I want it to be able to, like, pinch a lot. So let's say 150. So I don't know if this is going to work this way. It was like negative 40 to 150. I'm gonna assume that I've to some degree misunderstood these values and it's gonna, yeah, not work the way I want. Let's just see though. Yeah, if it was working, it wouldn't be flipping. Okay, how does this work? Maximum value of joints, angle, or position. Minimum value. I'm gonna start, I guess, with just one of these. Is this like... Maybe like you'll only be able to, like, it can only be like the same amount in either direction? Yeah, no. Let me try 10. Yeah, I am updating the right one. I'm changing the value on the lower arm. Is the rigid body stuff like applying torque to it? Is that kind of like overriding this? Oh, use limits as a checkbox. Okay, well, what's extended limits do? Can you give me a... No, okay, fine. Give me documentation of at least what, restricted to minimum max values. Oh, let me now just put in the -40 and the 150 and see if it happens to magically do that. But what is extended limits? Hey! Okay. I don't know why it's wanting to somersault, but I was hoping they would hit that value and just kind of stop. I love that. I can pretend that that's on purpose. It's just somersaulting around. See this? Okay, this is the awesome, like, physicsy stuff that I want to be making. Yeah. I could totally, like, you know, like, I don't know how, but somehow it's just front flipping over and over. That's great. I don't know how I could use that, but I love it. Let me try putting similar limits on the upper arm so that doesn't rotate all around itself. So what's that going to be? That can be a lot more. Let's say negative. Say negative 60 up. I don't like that. Well, it's not going to be rotating down that much. Or this one should be mostly rotating up a lot. So let's say, okay, let's say negative 70. And maybe just 70 down. So 70 in both directions. Let's try that. Okay. Oh yeah, you also can have like break forces that if like too much happens, then it can snap off from itself. So what happens now? You're still gonna try to flip. Oh, and you were stopped. Okay. Interesting though. Interesting. So how do I put this in? Now this should try to have. Are these gonna be kind of competing against each other? One trying to rotate one way, one trying to rotate the other. Let's see what happens if I do this. 2020. Not seeing the movement that I want. I guess they shouldn't be competing with each other. They should be trying to, like, this rotate up while this rotate downwards. I don't know why they're getting stopped. I also maybe should, while I'm at it, like, I don't know, reduce the mass of a lot of these things. Well, I don't want this to be stopped because the body can't, like, slide across. I guess I could reduce the friction. Oh no. What? Oh, that's not right. Messing with the upper arm force should not be making this curve up. That's not what the function of that's supposed to be. It should be just rotating just this. Did I put in the wrong thing? I totally did. They are just applying the same force in opposite. Yeah, okay. Oops. And again, I copied the wrong thing. Okay. Woo. Was getting worried there of why that was doing that. Potential mystery solved. Yes. Yes. Ideally it shouldn't be so fast and snappy. Well, maybe I might want to make things heavier. Have it be like, yeah, like rather than it be this light, fluffy thing, it should be, well, that. This dragging, ideally, would be dragging. So, would it help if I did increase the mass of everything, like, quite high, and maybe up the drag a little bit? But then, maybe then I up the force a lot and see what happens. This 100 might be too much. Let's find out. Or not. Okay. I mean, it's doing that kind of... It's like it's almost doing what I want, but not quite. So now this starts to have the thing of like, I mean, I was hoping that it would kind of, this motion would drag stuff. So let me start before I go too much further. Physical materials. Part of the problem could just be okay. Maybe like have this minimum friction thing, no bounciness, and put that on. Well, bleh. I'll keep these being like this sort of normal, high-ish amount of friction. Just, even though I want this to have a lot of mass, so it feels like it has weight to it, having it have less friction maybe will help it drag more? I guess not completely frictionless. Yes! It's almost there. That's kind of, that right there is basically what I want to happen. Have this have all of the friction. Maybe I'll even up this to like 1. It's not perfect. But that's a drag! It's kind of a drag. Okay. And, well, I don't actually know if this should be, for what right now, because it's not like it's sticking into the ground. It's scraping across it. I don't know if this should be an actual point or if it should be more of a, like a block kind of a thing or whatever. I don't know if it would help if I actually made the ground bumpy, like it had something to hook into, but yeah, who knows. Let me actually have let me put in like a high friction material or something, and actually that needs like 1. Have all of the friction and put you on just this upper arm. See if that helps. Maybe then this will kind of be less willing to move. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, an extra thing is that in theory, in a more polished version of this, it was kind of like it was kind of bumpy at the beginning there. In theory, it should be like, you know, up and like hits the ground initially at more of an angle, and then crawls that extra little bit. Yeah. So once we get this into like the pattern that I want of this scrape, lift, over, scrape, there might need to be just some extra code to get into that rhythm for like this sort of starting state, or even like, so okay, I could actually, you're not really supposed to modify the rotation of things too much, but I actually, well, okay, let me just try something. If on frame 1 I set this to be -50, will this rotate along with it? Let's find out. So that's gonna be upper arm RB. I'll do it that move rotation to see if, like, by doing it through the rigid body rather than transform.rotation equals whatever, maybe it'd be more likely to take in what I want it to do. An extra thing I could do is wait like a single frame rather than doing it on start. Like, maybe if I wait like 1 frame and then force rotate it, I don't know if it'll be more likely to yeah, have the hinge come along. So the rotation to quaternion.euler. I'm just gonna hard code this. It was 0, I think it was 180, and then it was -180, but I it should translate to the same thing. And then a -50. And then if this works, then I'll also then rotate the lower arm down a little bit. But let's just see. I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's find out. Will the lower arm come with? It did with some hesitation. Yeah, it doesn't love the idea of doing that. I'm assuming there's probably a better way. I mean, one way is to, if I really want it to be set up like that, like having, like setting this thing up to be up and over like that. But I just don't know if that's a problem to do it that way. So I just, I parented the arms together temporarily. If I do this, and then take it out. No, not out completely, just there. But I just don't know if that's going to mess with the hinge joint, but It did, because the hinge joint's going off of like a negative and positive based on its like where it starts. Which, yeah, now I could redefine it based on where it is, but I'd rather not. So, okay, that does get slightly more annoying. I wonder if I quickly just Googled like a Unity rotate hinge on start or something. Just to like... Can I do that? I'm seeing if you can define joint limits. That's not really what I'm looking for, I don't believe. Okay. Not seeing anything immediate, so that's a thing I can look into another time. For now, it's like close enough. So, okay. Right now, though, I still have this only rotating like a specific amount. I could do it by time. Like, so there's two ways I can have it like decide when to like, okay, you're doing one motion and now you're doing another. Either I do it by time or I do it by like it actually detecting when it's sort of reached its limits. Can I have hinge joint code that does that? Would I want that to be that way? Well, okay, so if I do it based on time, then if it takes slightly longer to do a particular pull, that could like mess with it. But it could help it could have it feel more like robotic of it being this like machinery that's just doing a continuous motion. Having it be more alive, like a spider type thing. It crawling forward until it's reached the sufficient like angle that it needs to be at. Which I guess I could test that angle. Like I could, like I could after here just test like if lower arm RB has reached like this Z rotation locally, then tell it to start going in the other direction. I guess is fine. But what if it? I mean, hypothetically, if it's on like, you know, hard terrain, it's like it pulls and it can't quite get all the way. Have it still like after a certain amount of time sort of cut off early and then go again. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to do that, I could do both. Have it be both if you've reached this rotation threshold or a certain amount of time has passed, whichever happens first, then do another claw motion. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? Okay. So if we treat this initial thing as being the start of the claw, to define the different states that this thing needs to be in, I could set up like a enum-based like state machine thing. Public enum state. Have it be like clawing. That's the well, it'll be like pulling. If I'm trying to like define like what are the different movements that this needs to make, there's like the clawing, lifting, maybe. Lift, stabbing, stabbing. I guess I don't know. This will probably be changed or reordered or whatever. We'll say that it starts in the pulling state because that's what this movement is going to be. Public state current state equals start being in the pulling state. And then if current state is no, this is switch statement material. Switch current state. Then case pulling blah. Whoa. If I could press the right letters, that would be great. Fix that in just letting it do the autofilling that it's being handy enough to do, and then fixing the no. Okay. Yep. Pulling, lifting, stabbing, do stuff. If it's in the pulling state, then we're detecting, we're doing this movement. In theory, each state will basically have, like, it's going to be rotating with some force. I don't know if the force will be the same. Might have different forces, but for now we'll say that's the same. Which currently match. Maybe both of these end up being the same. I'm not sure just yet, but we'll see. And then it needs some condition to decide, like, okay, if both arms have reached whatever position, then go to the next state. I'm deciding if I want to just, like, as a test, do the time way, just like wait 0.2 seconds and then switch state or whatever. Now we'll say so. Okay, if lower arm RB dot local rotation. Well, I mean, yeah, no, you're not gonna. I need the. If I'm just looking at what the rotation is, I think I'm fine to do it through the transform way. Local rotation dot. Well, I guess I'll go local Euler angles dot. We're just testing the Z. That's all we care about. Is at what threshold it has crossed is. We'll use the limit that we put, the 150. Yeah, we'll go slightly before. If it has hit 140. Is greater than 140. Although I don't know if when this flips around to 360, like if it being negative, if that's gonna. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. Transform local Euler angles dot Z is. If this becomes a problem, back up way actually where it is, like the angle between the rotation it would have if it was 0 and where it is greater than 140. Because I really only care if I'm rotating it this direction. If relative to 0, it has rotated the amount that I want to rotate it. I can test for both, but in theory, once one has reached the rotation needs to be, the other might have. But for now, I'll just test the one and hope that it's fine. Then current state now becomes lifting is what we're going to do, I guess. And then when it is lifting, what should happen? Lifting is this. So this one should pull out just a little bit. If it only wants, if it should only be moving a little bit, that's incentive for the forces to be less. But so this should go in the other direction, but it won't be for that long. And so should this, because then it should... No, wait. No, it shouldn't. Or wait. So... Okay. When it is at max having been pulled in, it should be something like this, right? To then become stabbing... Or, no, sorry, when it's in the lifting, or what... Did I put in lifting? Yeah, lifting. When it's lifting, it should then... like effectively reach out, which okay, I need to see how exactly I've rotated relative. I guess, yeah, because it's only 2 arms, it's not really like reaching out to then stab downwards, just because I wanted to limit this to just 2 arms. For now, at least, I could make a version of this that actually has 3 points that then like more stabs to the ground. But for now, this is like fine. Does it even need the 3 states? It might be able to get away with just 2. Like, if it's so it's at the pulling, and then it like becomes. Okay, so just to be clear, this moves down a little bit. This moves out a lot. So the upper arm one, I'm gonna try move that way, divided by 2. So you'll potentially move at like half the speed that you were before, or something like that. And then once these rotations have become, I'll just go off of the other one for now. It was rotating, like it was rotating up. So I say once it's less than 70, then we'll try that. Once it's less than 70, I sort of stabbing needs to be a state, because I might then be able to just go right into this and it might just work. But in theory, well, okay, no. In theory, stabbing should be this move down. Well, I mean, well, it should be this start to rotate in. I guess I don't want this to rotate up until after this part has made contact. So maybe it will be that this does rotate down as this rotates in. And that's the sort of stabbing state. Which will then mean that they're both rotating in the same direction as the... No. That means that this will rotate in this direction still. Also, I'd say only by... we'll try being the full force. You down, but only... So this would be the, in theory, the quickest state. I am typing a lot of code without actually testing it. We're gonna, hope that it works. We'll say only until it's at, like, 80 or something. And then you go back down to pulling. So I'm going to assume that this isn't going to work first try. But I am curious to see what happens. I probably haven't defined... I don't know if I've... Oh. I was going to say I don't know if I defined if there's any public variables I made that I didn't... Okay, well, if I, in theory... Okay, so that didn't quite work. I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is just print out some values and see what it's spitting out. I'm gonna put Unity over here where you guys can't see it for a second, but you'll be able to see it in a minute once this starts going. What's happening here? So your initial value is 0. That is correct. I'm actually just gonna skip this right here. You're 0 again. No, you're not. You are totally not. That's why that was. I said transform. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. This object dot transform. Haha. Yikes. Okay, it's fine. I'm so used to. Well, not having one game object that's getting multiple rigid bodies and instead having, like, the rigid body be on whatever game object that I'm messing with. So, whoops. But that's not the case here. That ain't the case. All right, let's try that again. Oh, wait, you guys aren't going to be able to see it. No. Get over here. Blah. Blah. Still didn't quite work. So right now, if I just, without resetting, go into play mode, here, you think you're at 98, huh? What are you? Oh, whoa, hold your horses. Wait, so this is according to this at negative 81 because of. It should be by angle, shouldn't it? Because, I mean, it stopped rotating because it hit this 150. But this doesn't say 150 because just the way that rotation stuff works. Yeah, so this should actually be like an actual... Yeah. I'll get better results if I just go to Quaternion dot... is it angle? Why am I forgetting? It's not vector 3 dot angle, is it? Angle. What's the equivalent of like dot? Like this vector 3 dot distance. I thought there was Quaternion dot. I thought there was a Quaternion dot like angle or something. Oh no, what is it? I know it's like something simple. I have to quickly Google it real. Find it in 2 seconds. Unity, like Quaternion measure angle. What? You do say Quaternion dot angle is a thing. What? Is it because I'm in a for loop? You're like, I don't trust this. Wait, why would you import that? No. So So the sort of starting angle is the rotation that this would have if, Wait. Well, so just first of all, I have to test like full just local rotation, but it should be only rotating on the one axis, so it should be fine. That being the second thing that I'm passing in. Hold on. Blah. If the rotation between whatever it currently is and like the rotation it would hypothetically have if it was all zeros, which I could like grab that on start, but is there an easier way to sort of calculate that? I guess if I'm doing it local rotation, then just quaternion. I guess quaternion identity works for that. Well, no, not quite, because this starts with a rotation of 0, 180, 0. So I guess I'm just going to have to pass that in. Quaternion.Euler 0, 180, 0. That's a little bit hard-codey, but it's fine. In theory, it should be the case that the Blender model from stuff that I imported in should have just had that being zeros and had that facing the direction that I wanted, but oh well. Actually, technically, I could remedy some of that by just rotating the parent object. Well, then I'd have to. I can do this. Just rotating this off of. Well, not even really the center, off of. Yeah, whatever. Nah, I'll leave it as it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine as it was. Okay. So yeah, you. If the angle between the angle you would have if you like on start and the rotation you have now, if that angle has crossed that much, then do stuff. Put that same thing in all these, and hopefully it'll be another step closer to it perhaps working. Okay, just waiting for it to compile, and then I can get back on this screen. I don't actually know what's causing that. It's something I could look into at some point, but that's not important. Okay, will you work? Not immediately. Okay, so now once again I gotta see what is this spitting out. I want to see what this rotation. What is your local rotation is? All that. Okay, well, let me just down here. I'm just gonna print quaternion. I don't need to do this. I'm just doing this for the sake of the debugging. Transfer that angle or quaternion. Just yeah, angle. This angle equals. What was your problem? You're actually just gonna be afloat. Yep. I'm not gonna bother putting in the other ones because I shouldn't need this. I only need this because it's not working. So I just on the Unity side, going in and out of play mode, still not working as it was before. What angle are you pulling? You're still being 90 for some reason. Why? Why? Like, I can adjust this based on what it's becoming. I just don't understand why it's not getting, like, it should be going off of this 150. Right? That's what I thought. How that worked. Huh. I'll double check that on start. If I go into this like on the first frame, the angle I should be getting is 0. If it's not, then problems. You are 0 on the first frame. How about the second frame? Once stuff is starting to move, you're immediately like 70. Although, okay, looking on the Unity side of things, it's it does seem to rotate a lot in the first frame. Oh, things seem to kind of jiggle to getting to what they should be. If I let some frames pass, that kind of then starts to bunch up. Then you're at like 90. I just, like, I can change it. I just don't know why. So I took this and hypothetically. Did this. Why does the 150 work is the weirdest thing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're only like from here. I'm expecting it to be based off of here. Like if this is the road. Wait, why is that not the case? Oh, right, because it's not parented underneath it. Oh, right, of course. I'm treating it like this should be 0, and so 150 like from that. When in fact that's not the case. It's one. So the 150 is the hinge. The hinge being based on here. Okay. The I mean, I still okay. That does raise almost like more problems if this thing was like going down a slope or up a slope or like. I don't know. Like it should be that rotation that I'm testing. Oh, Life! Hello! Welcome, cubes. Yep. Got Rubik's cubes. Oh my god. And the cubes in the scene may have been what you're referring to. Yes. So what? Can I get the hinge joint like amount? Like how close it? Because I could go off of that 90, but I'd rather. Like have it's meant to be relative to like how much has the hinge flexed. So let me just test some stuff. If this doesn't work, then I'll just go off of the 90 or whatever and then hope for the best. So this is lower to upper joint or something, and then there'll be like upper to body or something like that. So assuming I got that reference already, I'm just seeing, does this have some kind of like angle? Ooh. The current reason, awesome. That's exactly what I need. Okay, perfect. It's just as easy as that. Which means that in theory I shouldn't need to calculate any of this stuff. But before I preemptively delete code that I might still need, yeah, I'm gonna keep it around for a minute. In theory, then all these should be the same. Perfect. Cool. Which then for this, because at the moment for just simplicity, I'm only testing this one joint and not the joint that's the upper to body one that might need its own stuff going on. But, oh, remember with this, your most recent played game that isn't my own. How dare you now? We don't talk about any games here other than the one specifically that I make. No, what was my most recent played game? I guess technically Binding of Isaac. I occasionally do a run of that once in a while, but I haven't like properly hardcore played that. There was actually, so I can quickly show a thing. Or just get because in Steam I can see the last couple games that I've played. There's no accidental, no addresses, no phone numbers, no emails. I'm fine to just be like, wah, here. These are the last many Steam games that I have played over the last bit. Framed is a cool little indie puzzle game. Was it Framed made in Unity? I want to say that it was, but I forgot. Oh, no, I might be wrong on that. So yeah, there you go. There's answers to your questions. One thing that's cool. So Psychonauts is a game. Psychonauts is a video game. Oh, first of all, before I even say anything about that, I have an inherent bias towards liking any game that was made in Unity, like regardless of the quality of the game. No, like if I were to play a game and like it this amount, the additional knowledge of knowing it was made in the same game engine that I use, it heightens it. But Psychonauts is a game that was always on my list of stuff to play because I like 3D platformers and all that. And I knew that Psychonauts was some kind of 3D platformer, but I knew so little about it, and I went into it just very blind. Like there was so much that was different about that game that things that I thought about going into it. Like it was kind of the game I thought it was going to be, but it was a lot different than I thought it was going to be. So that was the thing. And yeah, enjoyable game. There is a Psychonauts 2. I haven't. I've bought in it, but I haven't played it yet. It's on my list eventually. So yeah, I'll get to that. So no spoilers. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that'd be a thing. I guess I'm to. Well, yeah. So a lot of these are like just random little indie games. Some made in Unity, like Budget Cuts, Beat Saber. This is a VR game because Unity's good for VR games and stuff. What Remains of Edith Finch is a game that was, again, completely very, very different than how I thought it would be. A lot of these, games went into line. Just like, here's a random indie game that I know exists and maybe a game that was made in, like, Unity or whatever. And, yeah. For some reason, I thought this was going to be, like, a murder mystery-esque thing. I will say, Unravel, I don't love Unravel that much. It didn't, I don't know. Wasn't, like, it's not a badly made game. I think it's just, like... I don't know, I like 3D stuff more than 2D stuff. It's a 2D platformer, and it's, like, fine. It's alright. It graphically looks very good and all realistic and stuff. I don't know. Hard to say. Like, I struggle to put into words what about it specifically I didn't like. It's not that I didn't like, I didn't hate it, just like, yeah, that was a game, I guess. One thing that's funny, not to spoil stuff, I guess, in that game, but it's very, very light, not spoiling, is there's a cutscene, like, at the end of the game, and the camera angle of it makes it look the game look a lot more 3D, and I don't know why, but it looking that way, I immediately had way more interest. It's like, oh, why couldn't I play the game like that? Have it be a 3D platform running around? That would be immensely more cool, but... Alas, it is not the gameplay genre that was, so... Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Oh, if you don't know this game, Manifold Garden, I believe this is a Unity game. It's a puzzle game. I guess... So I don't know if anyone cares about spoilers of things or whatever, but it's like... It's a game. It is a very unique... puzzle game. We're more like it breaks all of reality in every which way, to the front, back, up, down, all around. Everything. Your mind is just ooze out your ears by the end. Mainly just you can play through this game and it's like it does some stuff and all that. I guess I'll spoil. There is... So if you care about spoilers at all, you have the 5-second warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You play through this game, and you're going through puzzles, and it's like almost Portal-esque. Imagine Portal, but you can't tell where portals are. Like, you walk around a corner, and it's like, oh, that room's different. Like, none of the geometry around that I'm going through makes any sort of sense. But you kind of have to do 2 playthroughs of this game. You do a second playthrough where you, like, go... Like, you don't... You go through a lot of, like, secret passages where you effectively jump around the game. And it is the most bonkers thing that I've ever done in a game with just how, like, mind-melting it is. I had to, like, follow a guide through it just to have any comprehension of, like, how you're effectively just jumping around from different points of the game, and you, like, kind of break into this one part of the game and grab, like, a box and then get it all the way to this other part of the game to, like, open a door to go to, like, another secret area, basically do that to just get through the entire game. And just, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, Unity's new, yeah, that's come up at least once a stream, the last many streams. Yeah, pay if you said your game passes both 2,000 K in profit and downloads. Yeah, not a fan. Shocker that I am not a fan of it. I've rambled about this a bunch in the... People have asked about it in the last couple streams. Yeah, no, it sucks, and I, hope that Unity goes back on their decision and all that. It sucks. I've been waiting, it's like, are they gonna say anything? Like, they've been getting, like, all the backlash in the world about this and how dumb of an idea it is and blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, a couple days ago, they, like, the last, like, thing that they've said was like, oh, let's clarify some of the things, and then didn't clarify a whole lot, and just, it's still very, very bad. We're all just, waiting for the next time they say anything, and whether it's gonna be doubling down on their terrible decision, or, like, backing out on it, which is, what people hope they're gonna do. I mean, even if they do completely are like, yeah, sorry, our bad, we're not gonna do this, it's still sour taste in the mouth that they tried to do it in the first place. But I'm gonna at least be a little bit optimistic and hope that they do undo. They do press Control Z, and yeah, it sucks. But for starting devs, it doesn't really affect, nor does it affect smaller indies, but bigger people with the problem. Yeah, that's true. Like for me, like I make Unity stuff, and it's like never going to affect me personally, but still sucks, and still not good. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Like not much that I can do in my little corner of the internet, but there have been a lot of like protests and a lot of people who make Unity games, make mobile Unity games, like turning off Unity AdSense and stuff like that in their games as a form of protest and all that. And we'll see if that does anything or go anywhere and all that. Yeah. Apparently demos and playtests don't count. So they say that, but then the big thing is like, how are they going to enforce that, and how are they going to track that and whatnot? There's a lot of like stuff that people have been bringing up where like, just because they say something's going to be a thing, like how are they going to have the programming to like separate one thing from another of these different categories, and apparently a lot of it seems quite unfeasible. So, and then at that point it comes to them like, as they say, they might just basically be like estimating numbers and just going off of that, which seems very like not good. When it comes to paying fees, you don't want that kind of stuff to be like, oh well, we think your game had this many installs or whatever. It's like, but it didn't. It had like half of that or whatever, and then especially with how many people use Unity. Like if they say like, oh, if the number's wrong, then just tell us or whatever. Like you have thousands and thousands of people that have the numbers incorrect. Like are they gonna even bother? Like if some small person that's like barely crossing that 200,000, small relatively speaking, barely crossing that threshold, like are they gonna care to go through each individual case of it being correct, potentially on a month-by-month basis? I don't think so. Like on YouTube, if you have like, if today like a video that I've made got like incorrectly like copyright striked or whatever, and I try to like, oh, I want to reach out to YouTube people and like get that fixed, like that's YouTube doesn't care about me as an individual. YouTube the company. So I mean YouTube's like a grand scale, like Unity isn't as like, YouTube is way more massive in that, like relatively speaking, but yeah, I don't know if I'm explaining my point well, but oh well. Steam at least keeps counts on the demo versus full version downloads. Fair enough. So I technically have released a game on Steam before, a small little thing I made in high school. But like I've never made a demo. If it has an actual like separate like category thing, then so what stops people if someone wants to just release a free game? What stops them from just saying it's a demo so they don't get charged? Like there's just a lot of like weird exploits that people can do, and it's weird. It's sucky that they have to potentially do that. Yeah, weird. But free games will never be charged. So okay, I could be I've heard stuff both ways, and I don't know which is correct anymore. I've heard some people say that the fee, like, so like it is true that threshold, it's an and. I've seen some people think that it's an or, it's an and. Of its your game has to have crossed 200,000 total installs and made $200,000 in revenue. It has to cross both of those things. But I've heard some people say that applies on a game-by-game basis, but I've heard other people say that it applies to your, like, company. So if me as Cyberchroma Industries Enterprise Incorporated, whatever, if I release one free game that gets a lot of installs, whatever, but doesn't make any money because it's free, but I have another game that then is selling for money and then makes enough that it crosses the threshold, then if it's applying on a company-by-company basis, then the free game would then start to apply. You has stated that's per game. Okay, interesting. Okay, I mean, okay, that makes it like slightly better, but it's still not like, it's still bad. But it is slightly, that is like, as bad as it is, that is slightly less bad. But yeah, okay, that's information I wasn't fully caught up on. I don't remember who said it. It was like someone in like one of the previous streams that said it was on a that it wasn't on a game by game basis. But whatever. It's yeah, if that's how that is then. Sure. But I mean, it is still the case that like there's been a lot of like with the stuff that Unity's been saying about those new rules, new policies. There's been some vague terminology, especially at first. Like they had some follow-up stuff that kind of clarified stuff, but like at first initially there was a lot more ambiguity and people weren't sure like cases that it would or wouldn't apply. And it's still like things that they say versus what they'll actually enforce, like how they're going to track certain things from developer to developer or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of YouTube videos that is mixing stuff as well, so it gets all mashed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is it makes it harder to figure out what's actually going on for realsies. But all the people who are actually being affected by this probably let's say because I have the luxury of that it's not like impacting me in the same degree as people who are making a living off of like their current selling Unity games or whatever. They like it matters a lot more to them to be exactly perfectly up to date on every little detail with this whole thing and what's going to potentially happen with it. I'm just like over here in my corner just making the little Unity things that I was still in the middle of making anyway, and I don't plan on jumping ship just yet. I know that's also been a thing. A whole bunch of people have been jumping ship from Unity and trying out Godot and like Unreal and Game Maker and RPG Maker, like all that kind of stuff, which I'm not doing just yet, but who knows. I would, even if I didn't leave Unity entirely, I would be interested in the idea of just learning some stuff about other game engines just for the sake of expanding my skill set or whatever, but I'm not jumping because it doesn't really affect me. I have a couple reasons that I'm currently wanting to stay with Unity. Reason number one, which is the case with a lot of people, I currently have a lot of unfinished projects, like things I'm in the middle of working on with Unity. So rather than restarting a lot of that stuff in other things, I'd like to at least finish things that I've started in Unity to some degree. There's like, I make Unity tutorials. It would be hard for me to start Godot. I've used Godot for a week. Let me make some tutorials on specific stuff. It'd be a lot harder for me to do that while I'm still figuring things out. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like a Unity expert per se, but I can to some degree. Like, there's stuff that I can make tutorials on, teaching people things, just because I enjoy doing that. On like different topics that are more like beginner, intermediate, like whatever. I'm busy, like I don't have a whole lot of free time, and like the time investment of learning a whole new game engine, like is a lot. Although maybe, you know, I could start using Godot this week and like really enjoy it and be like, oh, I wish I, switched over to this years ago and blah blah blah. But who knows? Because there's definitely times where I waste a lot of time in Unity doing some things that I feel like are quite tricky, like a lot of stuff with lighting and environmental stuff I'm not super great at, but maybe if in Godot I would personally find it different and like, oh, I can make stuff look good like a lot easier, like who knows. But yeah, I had more reasons, but I'm forgetting them off the top of my head. But yeah, oh well, okay, I mean, there's also, I have a full-time job right now where I'm actually working at a company doing Unity stuff, so like there's that as well. Although hard to explain, my work actually hasn't like talked about the Unity thing. No one's mentioned it yet. We're busy with a bunch of other stuff, but for reasons that are hard to explain, it's, and that I don't want to like say too much about inner workings of, I guess, like stuff I'm not allowed to talk about, I guess. This Unity thing isn't going to impact us as much as it will with most other people, because we don't really make, like, I work for a company that does Unity stuff, but we don't make a game. We make like a product, like a tool. We're make more of a tool than a game, so it's different, like distribution stuff different, and also not my problem per se. I just work for this company. I'm not like I ain't no boss or whatever. That's their problem to deal with, not mine. I just get paid to do what I gotta do. Anyway, is it a toolkit makes? I don't know what that is, or I'm not familiar. But can I? Be very brief. I mean, I can say I work for a company called Fingerworks Telestrator. Bam. Wait a second. Bam. This is public available information. So, woo. Although this website, like, it's on the list of kind of redoing a bunch of stuff with it. But woo. Basically, when you have sports and stuff, makers. like, oh, is there? I haven't actually read like with all the Unity fee stuff. Like most of it is meant to be applying to like mobile games and stuff. In terms of stuff that isn't really games, but is like toolkit stuff. I actually have no idea what the current plan is for how Unity is applying it to that kind of stuff. But again, that doesn't affect me as much. But so Fingerworks Telestrators is a thing that we I've done this elevator pitch of this many times. I'm like blanking on everything that I usually say with this, but whatever. Sports, when you have sports playing on like live on TV during like a replay in like a football game, when they'll like, oh hey, drawing a line across the screen, hey look, that guy went over there, draw like arrows and circles, oh have a circle, follow that guy around. That's the tool that we make that a lot of big sports companies use, and it's pretty cool. It does so much more than just the lines, but that's like the easiest thing to explain. And it's so stupid complicated. There's so much little things to it and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, and these are some of the people that use our thing and way more. I know that this list is super old and there's like a lot more, but I guess I shouldn't, yeah. Like, I don't want to say like too much that I might not be allowed to say or whatever. So I'm a switch topics before I overspeak. But anyways, yeah, so where was I going with that? Basically, yeah, I'm overall gonna be fine as regards to like that's an additional reason of why I'm more hesitant to leave Unity, because I'm using Unity on the daily with other things, and going back and forth between multiple game engines and whatnot would be more tricky to do. Although it still would be cool to just expand my sort of skill set of just having more knowledge of other game engines and stuff like that. Anyway, even other 3D modeling softwares. I use Blender. Trying out, like, there are other 3D modeling softwares out there, like Maya and Houdini. What's the... hold on. There's the... I can't spell Houdini. I can't spell Houdini. How do you spell your name? Okay, got it. Yeah. Software. But Houdini is, like, expensive, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Whatever, that's something I'm gonna look into right this second. But yeah, there's a few different things I could mess around with at some point. But again, I don't got I have so many other things that I'm working on. I have a massive to-do list of things that I'm in the middle of doing. I don't really want to like add more things onto that pile before I clear off some other things. I mean, I say that, but technically the stream that's literally happening right now of making this thing was kind of adding something new onto that pile, but I had reasons for doing that I gave at the beginning of this stream. That, like, I want to be streaming consistently, but the thing that I'm actually wanting to be working on, the next thing I have to do with it is more like tedious work that I don't have time to, or I have some tedious work that would not be interesting to be streaming. Just doing some editing of like taking a bunch of footage and like chopping off bits at the beginning and end and like stuff like that. So I'm still working on that in my free time, but I don't want to like. I might at some point have to be like, oh, I'll miss a day of streaming just so I can be working on that stuff. But at least for right now, on the weekend, because usually I get higher viewership on the weekends. Although now like it's like fall and like school and stuff is happening, so I'm expecting to have lower viewership for now, but that's okay. Gives me more time to get back into the groove of making cool things. It was almost working. It was almost working. Don't know why you're currently flickering like that. What is your current... You think you're in the stabbing state. But you won't... Why are you not getting to 80? Should you be... Maybe give you a ×2 or something? Because that's not very stabby to me. Anyways, but okay, I lost whatever I was just rambling about. Let's get back to work on the actual thing here. It is 12:34, so I might have to be stopping soon-ish, but I went through the ground a little bit. That's funny. You're going the wrong way, mister. I want you to go in this direction. Not like that. Why won't you... Why are you stuck in the stabbing state? I don't know. I don't immediately know why what's happening currently is happening. Let me just, for the moment, try having lifting... Oh, because you're... Haha, that would do it. You're never told to leave. Okay. Surprising, if you type the wrong code, then the wrong things will happen. Come on. Oh, I was hoping that would be enough. I saved the code, right? Pulling to lifting, lifting to stabbing, stabbing to pulling. Okay. Oh, I was hoping that would be the only thing. Let me, I don't know if this should should really be here. These both being paused is fine, though. Or is it? Maybe this should actually be less. Extra small, like, divided by 4. Something like that. How about now? Why not? Because this is trying to rotate down, and, like, that's not good. Or are you rotating the wrong way? Are you rotating the wrong way? You're supposed to be... The lower part is supposed to be, it's like you can't rotate enough. Wait, add a lot onto you. I guess the times by 2 isn't gonna make that much of a difference or something like that. Well, no, but... Okay, this I expect to freak out massively. Not quite there, but it's like... Almost. Kind of. It's getting there, maybe. There should be more in place. I've skipped out on some of the tests that should be there, but it's also going too fast. I wanted it to be a clunkier, like like a slower kind of a thing. It's not meant to be like a kind of a deal, which is currently what it's doing, but... See, okay, the thing is supposed to pull in and then lift. The reason it's not moving is because it's not lifting. There's supposed to be a lifting step involved. Okay, so the lifting step is here. So maybe I take off the dividing by 2. Wait, no, the dividing by 2 is good because it, This... Wait. It needs to lift up more. If it goes out, then it's not gonna, Deciding... I don't know. Oh. Because it needs to be there. Yeah, the only way right now it's gonna be sort of getting out is by, yeah, going back. It's trying. It should be slower though. Well, oh right. If it's... I've just realized that if it's too slow, it might not be anchored to the ground good. Like, if this tries to go up and just sit there, the thing's gonna fall over, and that's its own issue. Maybe I need to then increase the weight of this so that, like, because it should be able to, in theory... Oh, it is being affected by gravity. Which, like... Oh, is that something I would want? For it to be able to, like, have this be able to be up and just sit there? If I am doing that, should it not be affected by gravity? But if it's not affected by gravity, it won't be pushing down towards the ground, then I feel like it won't pull as good, which I feel like will present its own problems. Well, just as a curiosity test, what happens if I leave it as is and turn off gravity? What happens? For the sake of knowledge. And I just turned off gravity on the arms. I left gravity on the body itself. Interesting. Does in a state, if it happened to be like this should extend a lot more and then pull. Again, it is still happening. It's all being way too fast anyways. Let me go back to the speeds themselves being a lot lower. Because I want it to be more mechanical and more slow because of that. Slower. Slower. No. Not that slow, but you're working on it. And maybe there should be more of a pause, like it should hit the other side and then it waits a second, and then rather than maybe what's also like making it not as mechanical, because making it not as mechanical is that it's instantly turning around. It should be more like or something. But then detecting a lot of that is hard. I don't like that it's, as this turns back, like, this shouldn't move back. This has no friction, so it being slidey kind of makes sense, but, like, yeah, the point is that it's supposed to kind of drag itself. I don't know why, other than the brief bit of when it's in contact with the floor. I guess just, What if I now put back, like, a little bit of friction? Then you can't really drag. I was hoping for, like, the dragging to be able to be, like, entirely physicsy. I don't know if I would... I might have to cheat it and be like, when this is in contact, like, apply a pushing force. I'd like to not do that, though. I'd like it to actually be more physical. I mean, like, right now, it's just, like, this is just, you know, gliding across the ground. Look, I don't know how I would go about it if I wanted this to actually, like, stab into the ground and then be like it's stuck there and not moving. I mean, I did give it supposed maximum friction, but that's only gonna go so far. Because, yeah, this ain't dragging at the moment. What time is it? Oh, it's 12:43. I am kind of out of time here, unfortunately. I was out of time 43 minutes ago. So... okay, it's a decent first start. We got, like, some conceptual things, I guess. It's cool. It's like, yeah, it's starting to shape up, just this random thing. So I might, between this stream and next stream, maybe, well, actually, I don't know if the next stream will be working on this or other stuff, depending on, like, my focus should be on my video that I'm trying to make. Once that's done, I'm more willing to, you know, do more jumping into these random, like, mini sort of side projects. Although some of that will be going towards actually working on the handyman with the unicycle again sometime this century. But I might do some, because this was my attempt at doing this without any prior Googling at all. I know that people have done stuff similar to this before, with making, like, oh, here's a procedural thing that, like, walks around, or here's, like, or just IK, FK stuff. Although mostly that's with, like, not physicsy things. I'm trying to apply this in a way that's completely physicsy. So maybe I'll do some Googling, and I'm sure maybe I might, like, see some things where it's like, oh, I was an idiot, I went about this completely the wrong way, this is the way I should have done this from the beginning. But hey, from doing this, I still, like, learn things. From having not Googled things prior, I was able to talk my way into sort of some potential ways to go about this and some pros and cons, why some ways initially seemed better or worse than others and whatnot. And yeah, I still don't know, yeah, I don't know where I would, if I got this thing fully working, where I would use it. But there's the potential of if this thing had multiple legs and it was this was a body and it walked around, but that's a whole different thing or whatever. I have returned. Hello, hello. Also, can a script on a wait, hold on? Can a script on a trigger have a game object that enters it get launched up, adding to its forward movement? Yes, that is 100%. That is a thing that can be done. I can real quick, basically rundown of what that would look like. I'm not gonna fully make that kind of thing, but you'd have some game object. This would have some kind of, let's say, a box collider, and let's say it's really big, and then it has is trigger and whatnot. And then on this thing, so that enters it gets launched up. You'll have to remind me on your specific skill level with Unity things and what you do and don't know, because I might start by explaining things you already know. But basically it would look something like, so assuming this code is on the trigger itself, you'd have an on trigger enter. This is a function that exists automatically with Unity that is, hey, we are a trigger collider and something just touched us. What was it? And what do we want to do about it? And then this thing that autofilled this collider other, this is the thing that entered this trigger. And you assuming, so if you're launching it up, you're assuming, I guess, that it's some rigid body thing. So then you might go dot get component. I guess we're gonna assume that it has a rigid body or whatever. And then dot add force, add, oh, whoops, I can wait a second for that. Well, I can type the code and then when you come back, show it. And I'm just gonna type more things to explain things when the ad ends. Okay. Lath, let me know when you is back. Back? Cool. Hold on. I'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so basically you'd have on trigger enter. The other thing, if you're launching it up, I guess you assume that it's something that has a rigid body. Then there's a handy add force, and you put in, I guess if you're launching it up, vector theta up times some value. There is this add explosion force in that. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't want the explosion force one. Actually, never mind. But if you wanted to launch this one big whoosh like it's an explosion, you'll do this. You'll go comma force mode dot impulse, and this makes it more instant explosion-y or whatever. This code is not great. This is just me very briefly trying to just be here's the rough idea conceptually of what you do. In actuality, you'd want to you'd want to test that it's I don't know if it's a player or an enemy or the thing that you actually are wanting to launch up, or testing that it has a rigid body on it in the first place. And then if it does, having an if statement, then you're gonna, I guess, add this force. Now, depending on what you want to do, you can either, there's two variations of this. There's on trigger enter, and then there's on trigger stay. This will run once. Cube enters your zone of being launched up. This code runs one time, and the thing gets launched. If you wanted this to be some kind of a wind tunnel or something, as long as you're in this area, there's a constant pushing force, then on trigger stay, that's gonna be running every frame. Every frame as long as the thing is inside the trigger. There's also, with on trigger enter, there is also on trigger exit. That is, this is the frame the thing entered, this is the thing the frame left. So they're opposites of each other. So you can do stuff with that. Sometimes, depending on the situation, these can be more efficient than running on trigger stay all the time. If you are wanting to be here's a wind tunnel, as long as they're inside the wind tunnel, apply a pushing force. You could say on trigger enter, this player entered the wind tunnel, now set a boolean to true, and you're going to be doing stuff in updates saying, every frame, players in the wind tunnel, apply this pushing force, and then on trigger exit. The player left the wind tunnel, so turn that boolean off, and we're not pushing it anymore. And in some cases, that could be better than always running stuff in on trigger stay every frame or whatever. But it depends on your circumstances. And if like there's also a degree where it doesn't, like in lower level games, you don't need things to be the most absolutely like top tier optimized. There's a degree where like you can just get code that makes the thing work that can sometimes be good enough. If you're planning to make something that's not just a super small, like you're testing something or whatever, you want to have good coding practices and all that. And if you like not let if you do a lot of things that are not good on performance, then eventually that can come back to haunt you when your game starts suffering. But yeah, it depends on what you're making and how much time you are trying to make it in. If you're doing a game jam thing where like you're trying to make a game in only like 24 hours, 48 hours or whatever, then usually that's when you let good coding standards slide to just get the thing done as fast as you can. But if you're making a multi-year long game, then yeah, doing stuff that isn't gonna bite you later can be a good idea. Anyway, okay, so it is 12:51, so I should unfortunately. Oh, my big project is on hold for now, so I am just opening a project to test different things, no release it or anything. That's cool. I'm basically doing the same thing right now. My big project is the handyman with the unicycle, and I will be getting back to that at some point. Or not like I have a list of other things that I want to do in the short term. Once I'm through that list, then I will be returning to that game. And some of the things on that list are, I know I want X feature to be in the handyman with the unicycle, so I'm going to build that feature in isolation now, like in a, where it's kind of easier to do in isolation, and then when I get back to working on the handyman with the unicycle, then I'll be bringing some of that stuff over. An example of that is that game is, in theory, going to have human characters that are moving around and stuff, not just this like, oh, it's a cube attached to another cube. So I want to do more with making human-y characters, and I don't mean like realistic humans. It's gonna be like cartoony, weird proportion, like cartoon character-y humans, but still humans regardless. Doing more with that and like animating people and like doing stuff with that in Unity, not just in Blender, but like in Unity, getting stuff with that to be working. So part of that is I want to eventually make some like little Unity, like entirely rendered in Unity animated shorts of different kinds, as almost like practice for some of the stuff that'll be eventually in the handyman with the unicycle. And we're also just making some cool stuff along the way with just doing that. And it'll also be practice for like making cutscenes and stuff that'll in theory eventually be in that game. So yeah, I have a list of things that I'm going to be doing, and slowly we'll be getting that stuff done. That list starts with, I have the next immediate tutorial video that I'm making. The list starts with finishing that thing off, and then going from there. I accidentally took the moon doing a launch pad. I'm assuming your launch pad thing shot the object out to space. Yeah, that happens. That happens when you have the number being super massive. Yep. That's forces for ya. Have it as 8. Depending on whether you're applying it the every frame or like just the once, and whether you use the impulse, the force mode impulse thing, like yeah, it's gonna have different effects on what's gonna happen. There's also in the rigid body itself, you might mess with like the mass, the drag, the angular drag, or if you go to edit, project settings, physics, there's like, you can set the global like gravity thing, and sometimes you want that to be larger for reasons. If you want everything to fall slightly faster or whatever. Anywho. Okay. But anyways, yeah, so with this thing, yeah, it's coming along. It's definitely has a lot to go, but I'm curious of something, actually. Can I? No, I won't be easily. I was curious if I flip this thing around and it was the the flatter side that was actually rubbing against the ground. I was curious if that was gonna somehow if that might have better results, but for now, not take too much effort to do right now for just a little test that I'd undo in 5 seconds anyway. But yeah, this is an interesting start. It's definitely still not like doing quite what we want it to, but it's interesting. So yeah, it is 12:55, so I'm gonna go for now, and might do some more. Like once I've done like a little bit of Googling with this, I might have an epiphany of like, oh yeah, okay, this is how this kind of thing is supposed to be done. It'd be cool if I do learn such things and I come back at this and then I make this work and it works wonderfully. We could make more stuff with this. Like it'd be cool to do something like this that can actually like crawl up a wall or something, like actually like a pickaxe thing, like sticks into the wall and is like something that's climbing up. That'd be super cool. And then like another thing like this where I just start a stream where it's like, let's make this random thing. Another thing I'd like to make is an actual like catapult, like making a physically whatever, like a catapult kind of thing that can launch something. That'd be super cool. It would then be also cool if I combined these things and somehow had like a catapult that like launches this like pickaxe armed thing and it like sticks into a wall. That'd be cool. That would be super cool. That'd be very far off and super unnecessary. If I make something that complicated, surely I'd have to find a way to actually be able to apply it, either in the animation that's down there, making a new one that somehow makes use of that. Although a catapult would be hard because you'd have like a big arc, and like the one tricky thing with the animation that's down there below the stream is it's a 200 tall by 1920 wide, excluding the area that's like below chat, which I wouldn't want to be too noisy. So I basically make an animation thing that fits those dimensions, which is unconventional, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, and stuff with this, like I don't know if this turns out well enough, if I can somehow turn this into like an enemy or an obstacle or even just a random background element in the Handyman with Unicycle, but who knows? Like, we'll see. I would like the levels in the Handyman with Unicycle to be interesting and have cool stuff going on, even if it's just interesting moving background elements. Like the first test level that we were going to be making was on a submarine, so having like pistons that are like moving up and down and different crazy stuff like that going on. Doing procedural stuff like this now could lead to more of like weird procedural animation-y stuff that we do with that later on that could lead to cool, interesting things. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. Anyways, enough repeating myself. I'm gonna go in. Usually I stand and I raise my desk at my as I end these things off, but I did the Terry Fox run today, and my feet or my legs are very sore, so I'm gonna be recovering for a couple days. So I'm aiming to be walking as little as possible for the next little bit. But yeah, I'm fine. So any other last little things I wish to say before I end off? Probably repeated myself enough. Nothing else comes to mind. So I guess yeah, we'll end things off for now. So that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. All right, mouse, where's mouse? There's mouse. Okay, and all right, bye.